the seniors looking to make amends. Ian Rickman is out and will play this afternoon. 125 goals for the Seagull Spearhead last season. He's back after injury, and that means that Morney will move into the pocket to make way for Rickman. Nick DiMartino and Miles miss out, so the interchange is Sleverson and Owen. Well, for Barry Round, in a career of milestones, the latest is 100 games of VFA football.
Oh, naturally, it's I'm proud to achieve it, I suppose, but it'll all mean nothing if we don't win the game today, so that's the way I'm treating it.
Well, a month ago you were really looking good coming into the finals. Things seem to have slackened off a little bit. Put your finger on it?
Yeah, well, look, I think the Preston game last week was pretty disappointing, but the real one that gets up my skirt a bit is the Box Hill game at Williamstown. We're in a winning position at home, fighting for top spot, and we blew it, and very disappointed about that. But I think we can turn it around and come back.
Ian Rickman seems to have been the worst kept secret that he will play today. Is that correct?
Well, I think he's going to. Yeah, we'll find out in about half an hour, I suppose. But yeah, Ian's okay. He nearly made it last week, to be honest. And as I said, he trained pretty well all week, so he's okay.
And here's the Werribee lineup. Every line has been changed from what appeared in the press earlier in the week. Lesaputty's gone to centre half forward, Walsh gone to the half-back flank there. That's one of the changes. Another is Stephen Sells to the forward pocket. He plays his 50th game of VFA football this afternoon. Geary, Montgomery and Lamb miss out of the selected 18, with the interchange bench being Walpole and Morris. Well, it's a huge day for the Werribee Football Club. For the first time in their history, they're in a First Division final. I asked Leon Harris, the captain coach, how the build-up had been.
Oh, it's been good. The lead up has been good. We've sort of won the last 4 games, probably not against opposition that's playing in finals, but winning form's good form, so the guys are confident. Pretty low-key today, but I think deep down they're really keen to get out there and go on with the job.
Against Williamstown, you ran them, to 13 points in your only meeting this year?
Yeah, they did beat us at home, so that was it was a credible performance, but hopefully we can go one step better today.
Well, you really do have a classy side. When you look through that lineup, a lot of players who have experience at this sort of level, at finals, where it's different.
Oh, I think so. I think you're right. A lot of guys have played at senior level and played in a lot of experience and final game situations. So I don't think that's going to be detrimental to us today, not having to play in finals in past. I think the guys will acquit themselves very well.
Great performance by Leon Harris to get his side into the finals, first year as a coach. But a bit toey, I think. Sam Kekovich, welcome.
Thank you, Peter. Yes, it's been a great effort by the Werribee Football Club in such a short period of time to be officiating in a final series, and indeed is a credit to their administration, and not only the senior side but their reserves and under-19s.
In fact, they won the club championship this year, which is a fantastic performance, and I'm sure the whole of the West is behind them this afternoon. Well, perhaps the other side of Williamstown. Geelong, I know, will be behind Werribee, but Willie also have a big supporter base. It's going to be a difficult one to pick, Sam.
Oh, well, look, I'm in a quandary, Peter. Yesterday I predicted Springvale to win without a great deal of conviction, and today I'm in a greater quandary. I've selected Williamstown purely on the score of experience, but both sides have got class forwards, and I'm predicting that Keith and Rickman respectively will have a big bearing on the game, but then again they're on 2 frugal backs in Lloyd and Fitzpatrick, so could go either way, but Williamstown purely on the experience factor.
Well, we don't have Peter Ross this afternoon, but we have the VFA's answer, Ross Booth. Good afternoon.
Oh, that's flattery, Peter. Well, Ian Rickman, the eyes on him. He had his right shoulder heavily bandaged, perhaps some injection, not sure, but he's standing now on the centre square line, but I think you'll see him shortly at full forward. Umpires Brendan Carlin and David Howlett.
So it's Williamstown who've played in the last 2 grand finals, only to lose, going from left to right. But it's Werribee who go forward through Spearings. Sells couldn't mark, taken by Sizer. Not the exact start that Werribee would have liked, but they're on the scoreboard inside the first 30 seconds.
Yes, as we mentioned, Peter, a couple of notable milestones. Barry Round's 100th and the Mercurial Sells playing his 50th.
Ball just bounces over, throw in half forward flank. Frank Lesaputty starting at centre half forward. One of the many ex-VFL players who are playing with the Werribee side, and they're starting to gel together well as a team as Swan taps the ball through. Smith just a little bit too close to O'Connor to hit him with the handball, but O'Connor, thanks to Barry Round spreading the wings, got clear, and the mark's taken by Michelli. Here's Rickman. Well, he's a long way out of goal. Perhaps he is at centre half forward. Squaring kick there. Jack Aziz, good position, good strength. Aziz got a little bit of pressure from McMaster there. Burton, bad bounce there for Morney. Spearing's trying to hold him and doing a good job of it. Well tackled, Barry Spearing's getting the free kick in the back pocket. Looking for all day. Lezapati got it down to the ground. Away goes Sizer. And McTaggart back from an ankle injury, and that's a good in for the Williamstown side. He uses the ball so well. Perfect example, Smith. Well, he looked like he was trying to pick out that player. Werribee to centre wing, Sells. McTaggart. Rayburn. Oh, he's got a man loose. Bounces up nicely for Ricky Knight. That will feel good for Knight. Twice Williamstown told him his services weren't required. He went to Werribee and he gets the opening goal of the elimination final.
And what an important goal it is, Peter, just to settle the nerves for the inexperienced Werribee side. But that was a poor mistake made by Smith. A poor option looking for Rickman, and the interception came and the opportunity arose, and Ricky Knight is the ever elusive half forward. He doesn't need many opportunities to be a damaging player. A couple of positional changes. Aziz at centre half forward and Hal at the centre half back for Williamstown.
All they got the ball down, handed off to Rayburn, but a throw, I think, is the decision. It looks like Swan will take the free kick. Dual Liston medalist. Bill Swan knows this Port Melbourne ground pretty well. That's where he won his Listons. Free kick against Rickman, but it won't go to Forsyth. It'll be the advantage. Shove in the back for Willis against Leon Harris, who was pretty towy, as you might have gathered from the interview. Big day for him and the Werribee Tigers, or the Bees, as they like to be called. Aziz with strength. The two number 12s battle. Ratcliffe against Johnson.
Yes, both physically strong sides, Pete, so I think we'll see plenty of body contact this afternoon.
All day front position, down towards Harris. Overrun by Rickman. Here's Spearings, prominent. Fine mark, Tony Pastore. He's a finals player of note, Pastore. And there's a 50-metre penalty against Knight. So he's kicked a goal, but might have undone the good work, Sam.
Yes. A little slightly over-exuberant on the mark. Been warned once, twice, and the third time. Suffer the consequences, and this is a telling blow for Werribee, who looked very, very sharp in the opening few minutes of this first quarter.
Right now. Come out, Leon, come out.
Pastore drills it through the middle. Werribee lead by a point.
Yes, has been a very good player, Tony Pastore. Been very consistent for Williamstown all year. Probably he, along with McTaggart's, probably been their best player all season. And it was an important goal for them because their form leading up to the finals was very patchy, very indifferent. And really, it's sudden death today. They really can't afford to give sides starts.
In the middle for Werribee all day. Harris, Fenton and McMaster. All day 14. Gets it to Harris. Up towards Sells with McTaggart. McTaggart sporting a haircut and clean pair of heels. Out towards Swan. Over the top McMaster. Still in play for Lezapati. Rayburn. Oh, Johnson did well to intercept. Mitchell's tackle without the ball. In comes Swan and wins the free kick.
Yes, an indiscriminate tackle there by Rayburn. And of course he'll be wanting to put in a big effort against his former club.
Marking him is Fenton. Johnson. Mitchell. Lots of handball from the Seagulls. Smith looking for Rickman. touch high. Looked a little tentative there as he went for that mark. Spearings. Out to Forsyth. Smith comes charging through. Over the top by Forsyth to McMaster. And to the running Walsh from half-back. Squaring kick. Too long for Lesaputty. And McTaggart is there.
Oh,
no.
Well, if that was a forward, we would have said great use of the body, but it's gone against the backman on that occasion. Sam, I know you're a forward, but you must agree that he's a bit hard done by, I think, Brent McTaggart.
Certainly was, no. There's no question the umpire erred on that occasion, Peter.
Sells to the edge of the square. A little bit of breeze dragging it further than certainly his forwards thought, and the mark's taken by Lloyd. Howlett, time to recover. Andrew Howlett goes towards Michelli, and the breeze just seems to be playing havoc with some of the kicks at the moment. That one,
it's quite blustery out there, Ross, is it?
Yes, there's a bit of a northwesterly breeze. Not too strong, but blowing to the left of screen. O'Keefe the target. Short full forward he is. Howlett back in defence. Knight, that's good to Harris. Second goal coming up for the Tigers. Kicked by their captain coach Leon Harris.
Yes, well, they're certainly looking extremely sharp, Werribee. You know, the adrenaline's certainly flowing freely through their bodies, and here we see it on screen. Yeah, the loose ball, good hand, quick hands by Knight to coach Leon Harris, and that would assist him greatly too, being a captain coach, on-field leader, setting the example.
Swan. And here's Rickman doing the chasing on centre wing. Coming at him from all directions. Good work by Ian Rickman, and then unfortunately it's gone out in the full. But he got around Forsyth to get another socker at it. And as Ross mentioned earlier, he was a bit tentative when he reached up before. McMaster's kick. The spoiler was Howlett. Swan didn't really bend down to that. Rayburn's hands. Sizes with the kick. Sells front position momentarily against McTaggart. This is going to be a great duel. Harris thought about the handball, the pass instead. And directly in front, Darryl Fenton, the vice captain, put his side further in front.
Stay out, Werribee.
Centerman leans back on the kick a little bit. And he'd be disappointed with that, but no doubt Bill Swan, number 13, just in the foreground there. His opponent would be quite pleased that his man, who was a good 60 metres away, didn't kick the goal.
I'll say, Pete.
Lloyd down the ground. Lesaputty fists away. Sizer knocks it forward. McTaggart there using his pace to advantage. Clears it out to Johnson. Oh, poor kick. Nice grab, Rayburn. Moving the ball quickly, good vision, and Fenton loose again, and furthermore, Ricky Knight is in the forward pocket.
Gee, superb use of the ball by foot then. Ross, they swung the ball right across, sized up the situation, selected the right option on each occasion, and now Knight from 30 metres out.
Kicked one, gave away another, and kicks Werribee's third. They're squaring the ball well, aren't they, Sam?
Oh, superbly, Ross. And they really have settled down well. You know, there we see Rayburn featuring prominently, quickly onto Fenton, and Fenton sized up the opportunity and passed on to Knight, who's already being a danger player up forward. We mentioned prior to the game that he's a live wire. He doesn't need many opportunities to prove dangerous. But that clash you were talking about, Peter, with McTaggart and Sells will have a bearing. McTaggart, both fine players. Great ball players. It will be a great contest.
Well, Ricky Knight's played for Williamstown in their premiership in the reserves in 1986, senior football the year after, but then was told the services weren't required again in 1989 after a stint up the country, so he's feeling good against his old side already. Use of the body by Walsh, and away goes Radcliffe. Well judged, Howlett, and he got the high tackle. He tacked the ball there. Aziz gets it on the bounce. Ooh. Domberg the tackle. Gee, they're going to be hot on holding the ball, I think.
Well, if they're consistent, there's no problems, Pete, but by gee, that seemed very hard lines for Aziz.
Spoil from McTaggart on Sells. Here's Sizer. Hand off from Knight. There for Harris, I think. So the throw-in's about 80 metres around from the Werribee goal, and they lead by 14 points. First quarter, 11 minutes old.
Perhaps rain later, though goals important on the board early in the match. Slight breeze advantage to Werribee through Rayburn. And Knight, bad hand pass. Unstuck, Burton. Wide Morney pushing and shoving with Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick keeps the forward at bay. Bruce Morney, number 20. Rickman now is at full forward, clearly. So just a tactic to unsettle Werribee. O'Connor will get the free kick. Ragsy. Appropriate nicknames for the Rover. Barry Round loose at half forward. Spots Pastore. Good use of the ball by Barry Round in his 100th VFA game. The lead now from Rickman into space. Forsyth into his back. All day. Walsh, Sizer moving it well and quickly. Long one looking for Sells and marked strongly ahead of McTaggart.
Right out, Leon! Right out!
Breeze at his back, Stephen Sells. Will have to kick from over the 50-metre mark as you see that strong mark. Lovely shot by Sells, but just offline.
Certainly looking very dangerous, Ross, and Williamstown doing it all wrong at the moment, chipping it short.
Thanks, mate.
The margin for error is too great, trying to thread a ball virtually through, need-lay openings and being intercepted quite often.
Round was the target, cleverly knocks down. Smith running through. O'Connor's there also. Boundary beats them. Opportune time to push Phil Cleary. A speedy recovery. He's not decided to swit the dummy because of yesterday's loss by Coburg, but he's got a touch of the flu or something today, so Phil down there at Coburg watching the game, all the best.
Actually, best of luck. Yes, we had a bad dose of flu. We spoke to him this morning. He could hardly speak. He was that croaky.
Yes, he was very croaky at three-quarter time, I remember. So good luck, Phil.
As is Spoils, Domberg, all day. That'll be holding the ball. As is Rickman on the lead. That's a better delivery. And that is very reminiscent of the way he did his shoulder against Coburg in round 16. He made sure he didn't make contact with the dirt on that occasion with the upper part of the arm, but he must have had second thoughts as he dived for that one. Prodigious kick of the ball, but he goes short instead. Johnston. Mitchell won't make the distance. Here's Sizer. He's been all over the ground. Knight. Those two, the middle of the quarter so far. McMaster finding the running Rayburn. Good use of the body by Lloyd. Good running full back. Swan. Switches play back into the middle. O'Connor. They want something from this Williamstown. O'Connor being forced sideways by Sizer. Pretty indirect stuff so far from the Seagulls, and Domberg takes it away from Aziz. Throw in front of the Norm Elgos stand, which is full, and will get fuller, I think, as the rain starts to come down.
Yes, light rain, but that gentleman's not worried. O'Connor. Sky clearer to the northwest, southwest, little grey. Just possibility of a shower. All day and round hitting the deck. David All Day had a very good year. Willis, tackled by Lesaputty. McMaster, the ruck rover, long kick. O'Keefe read it well, but getting a hand in there is the ever reliable Simon Lloyd. I thought that was over and O'Keefe was going to mark. Congratulations from Mitchell.
Excellent fullback, Simon Lloyd.
Round against Sells, a bit of mismatch in the ruck.
Didn't even go for the ball.
O'Keefe had to come in and he gave away the free. 3 Seagulls over here. One of them is Chris Burton. He drew the man, David Willis. Can they make something out of this? Michele in front of Walsh. Too close to give the handball to Smith. Spearings. Oh, good desperation from Michele. He's made something out of nothing. Away goes Bruce Morney. Over the top of Rickman to goal. Great persistence from Wayne Michele. He knew he'd made a mistake and he made up with it, number 33. And that could be the sort of inspirational thing that gets the Seagulls into gear.
Exactly, Peter. And we'll see it here on screen. Well, we'll see Morney running away. And he's one player that's Williamstown do need, because he has got a touch of class and capable of kicking goals. But Michele's effort in that exchange was absolutely superb. And that is inspirational stuff, that smother. You know, to retrieve the ball, was guilty of handing it over, but fought back to retrieve possession, and the goal evolved.
Marcus O'Connor giving the Seagulls momentarily into attack. Spearings taking it a little easily. Lucky Walsh is there, and McMaster. Michele playing for the free kick. It's tough and tight in there, O'Connor. Finally, umpire Steve Coto will put it back into play. There's Nick Walsh, number 5. There's an administrative role at Werribee as well. All day, 14. Nice work, Sizer. Got it out just after the whistle. There's Leon Harris, number 1. His first year of captain coach. We're pleased with the start by the Tigers. And David Howlett with a bounce. Nearly 18 minutes gone, first quarter. Elimination final. Sizer trying to find Harris. Rayburn looks very determined all day. McMaster takes the advantage. Fenton been prominent. Long one. Lloyd backing back with O'Keefe, but just caught underneath the ball.
The long kick caught him out, unfortunately, Ross. That's the value of that long kick through the centre.
And Phil O'Keefe confidently kicks Werribee's 4th goal and acknowledges the very fine kick from Daryl Fenton.
Yeah, they've just got the ascendancy through midfield, and it was an excellent passage of play. The advantage rule paid correctly by the umpire. Saw McMaster onto Fenton. There's that long kick that caught the Williamstown defence out, and O'Keefe read it perfectly. Johnny on the spot. And that'll be a tremendous confidence boost to the full forward in conditions that generally don't favour forwards, Ross.
The trouble with O'Keefe is that he can lead very quickly, can't he? So you've got to watch that as well, Sam.
Yes.
15 points the difference. Coming up to the 19-minute mark. Allday tries to go again. Pastore stubbed his kick. Domberg on hands and knees. Runs through to Spearings. Fine smother. I think it was O'Connor. Morney trying to tap it to Rickman. Taken away by Forsyth. Got a big job this afternoon on Ian Rickman. Here's Richie Rayburn. Second in the Liston count. He's been run down here. Great tackle. Matt Johnson really put in there.
And behind play, there's been a bit of a tussle between Johnson and Rayburn.
Another former Williamstown player against his old side today, Ross, Richie Rayburn.
Yeah, and I think Richie Rayburn was pretty lucky there. Say no more.
Allday gets the tap. Michele takes it away. Trying to wrestle clear with Smith. O'Connor. Here's Spearings. A little bit more pressure on the Werribee backs now from Williamstown. McMaster. Allday. Just out of Radcliffe's reach. Here's Swan. Round. Straight to Terry Domberg. Harry, not a renowned kicker of the football. The Dombergs put it in front of Allday. Fenton, who's really giving Swan a bath. Lesapati on to Knight. Well, his 3rd goal staring him in the mouth.
He could have had an opportunity to steady then and run it all the way, Ricky Knight. But it was once again excellent passenger play by Werribee, and Fenton is featuring prominently, you're right, Peter,
yes,
through the centre.
Well, this one not doing that defensive work at the moment. Mitchell. McMaster has a bouncing ball to collect. Cleverly around Mitchell. Not so Barry Round. Michele coming in to lend assistance.
Did you see the expression on Barry Round's face then, Ross?
Oh. Determination, there he is.
My word.
The 40-year-old against David Allday. Nice tap from Round. Good shepherd from Johnson, but only allows Werribee in. Through Rayburn, O'Keefe. Harris, Sells rather. He's on the left foot. Good tackle, Lloyd, holding the ball.
Yes, we've been critical of Sells previously for endeavouring to do a little bit too much. I'm sure he'd incur the wrath of the bench.
No option for him. Pastori, wobbly kick. Smith, the spoil. Michele held it back. Well done. And umpire Carlin in to bounce.
You'll have an early day if you are. You'll have an early day if you are. I'm telling you, you'll have an early day.
Back behind the play, umpire David Howlett. Just letting the players know that the send-off is a possibility for any major offence.
And the ball!
Willis will get a free kick.
Interesting to see the AFL talking about the order off rule. Of course, in use in VFA for some time.
Big thump from Fitzpatrick. Rickman. Well, he's determined to try and play on at the moment, Ian Rickman. He's kick off the ground. Smith in best position here. In fact, he takes an opponent out of it for O'Connor. Aziz on the edge of the goal square. Well done, Fitzpatrick. Domberg breaks the tackle. The Werribee backs playing brilliantly at the moment. Forsyth to Radcliffe to Sizer. And don't the Tiger fans like what they see at the moment? The team leading by 13 points. Harris being harried all the way by Brett McTaggart. What's offering? Johnson being held off by Radcliffe. Fitzpatrick heard the call from Walsh. Nice. Walsh. Good length again with the kick. Sells comes in. Willis got the shepherd. O'Keefe put a bit of pressure on him. Howlett towards McTaggart. Lesapati, it's desperate stuff. Rayburn. Now Sells looks at the goals. He usually only needs one look. Oh, that time he's at the woodwork. In fact, the difference now is 17 points. 17 points in favour of Werribee. But they're making great distance with some of those kicks from around the middle, Sam. That could be worth 3 or 4 goals this breeze.
Yes, I think it's really sprung up, Peter, and they're playing the wind very intelligently, the long kicks.
There it is. It has picked up from the north. Nearly into time on first quarter. Werribee leading by 17 points. Perhaps more as Ricky Knight gets a free kick. No doubt as to whom they're supporting. 10 possessions in the quarter to Ricky Knight. 5 goals last week against Werribee. Against Brunswick Broadmeadows, should say. Feels confident. Kick 2. Just trying to get that extra distance, losing accuracy.
Careful, don't shepherd, Leon. Here's the mark. Andrew, over your mark.
Speechless scene.
No, very attractive portion of the crowd, of this large crowd too in attendance here, Ross.
We're into time on now, and it's a 17-point lead for Werribee. Lesapati goes defensive. Rayburn couldn't nab it. There's Michele off the carpet. Smith, Pastori, Michele, good running. Sweeping from end to end. High tackle on Fitzpatrick. Oh, Domberg gets crunched. I think the umpire initially thought about
paying advantage.
Yeah.
You're right, Pete.
And Domberg's got the free kick. So he had played the advantage. Now let's fist. Well, these teams today playing for a place in the first semi-final where they'll meet the reigning premiers Coburg, who were thrashed by 73 points yesterday in the qualifying final. Springvale looking to play Preston. They will, in fact, in the second semi-final next Sunday. Harris. Fenton. Sells caught. Good recovery. A lot of players calling for it. Sizer, it will be caught by McTaggart. Knocked the ball clear, otherwise it would have been holding the ball. Nice handoff to Sells from Harris. Stephen Sells, not his accurate self so far. 18 points the difference in favour of Werribee.
Sam, aren't the umpires doing a good job letting it flow?
Yes, I agree, providing they retain their consistency, Ross, in some of their interpretations.
Lloyd dangerously close to the line. O'Keefe, the full forward.
Let him go back 2 yards. Back 2 metres.
O'Connor will have to be careful not to give away a 50-metre penalty. The short is on. Not much chance for Leon Harris with the pass.
Yeah, I thought he might have backed himself in with this breeze. He's a prodigious kick, O'Keefe, and that was a poor option
So
for obvious reasons.
Full forwards giving the ball away.
From the front, Jackers is. Don't get to the mark.
And a free kick going to Jack Aziz. Finessing by Aziz, making it difficult for Howlett. Big fist from Fitzpatrick. And Grant Smith, you can hear in the background saying, none of that, none of that.
Talking about the delivery into
Yes.
the forward line, the high kicks not helping the forwards. Here's Michelli. Willis. Domberg went for the mark.
Oh.
Just a little bit of a lull now prior to quarter time. Good opening term from Werribee. They lead by 18 points. Brown muscling his way in. All day down to Harris. Another knock on from Knight, taken by Swan. Pastore has Smith in attendance and the ball bounces for Walsh. Now here's Burton for Williamstown. Pastore to try and put the shepherd in, but Knight wouldn't let him go. Fine tackle from Walsh on O'Connor that time. Trying to burst through is Morney. Pastore off the ground. Good option to kick there. The siren beats them. Just 6 goals kicked in the opening term. Werribee kicking 4 of them. 2 from Ricky Knight, singles to O'Keefe and Harris. The goal kickers for Williamstown, Pastore and Morney. At quarter time in the VFA Elimination Final for 1990, Werribee lead by 18 points. At the end of the game, we'll announce our selection for the Wards Express Man of the Match. Jot that selection on the back of an envelope with your name and address and get it into the VFA by last mail on Wednesday, and you could win $200 from Mazda Australia. A separate competition from the one we ran yesterday, so there's $400 up for grabs for the lucky viewers this week. One AFL game to complete the home and away season, and it's the SCG and the Tigers fighting for their lives financially, and this could give them a bit of a spur, a good start against the Swans up there. On Williamstown, I don't think they should be too down in the mouth, Sam. I think there's some good signs there. They were kicking against the breeze, but still, Werribee 3 goals in front. Barry Round not really having much to say at the moment. Jackers is just getting a bit of work on that right calf. But Ian Rickman at full forward. It'll be interesting if we can get a shot of him in the huddle there, but he has looked tentative, I thought.
Yes, he is a little bit down on confidence, I suspect, Peter, but I think Barry wouldn't be overly perturbed. You know, Werribee kicking with a stiff breeze, I think the endeavour of Williamstown has been quite good, but he would be very, very despondent with the intelligence shown by a number of players in their execution. And here we'll hear a few words from the man himself.
You know, you're not playing him bloody close enough. We're not that good a side where we just leave our man and let him have an open bloody slather. Christ almighty, some of the mistakes. I went through the side before the game. Blokes that have played 11, 12 finals. Here we are. Chops, get the ball inside 50. I know what you're trying to do, I know. But look, you're the best kick in the bloody side. I want you to go back and put them through. I want you to play from the square.
And I think that might be because Ian Rickman, who is nicknamed Chops, there he is in the background, is not confident with his physical fitness at the moment. I mean, that shoulder and...
Perhaps I think you're right, Peter, but that's what I was alluding to, where Round would be very, very disappointed in the execution of some of his plays. They've squandered a lot of opportunity. I mean to say it's hard to win possession, let alone, you know, just giving it away in the manner in which they have. And Rickman on a couple of occasions I thought was within scoring distance and, you know, would have warranted him going back and having a set shot. But he endeavoured to finesse and, you know, Werribee are very, very slick and they've, you know, intercepted on a number of occasions and they've used the ball well. Here the highlights, Sells has been prominent and they've really got to close down on him. Rayburn playing against his old side has also been a good contributor, and Ricky Knight has been a very, very dangerous and elusive forward. But they've used the ball well, they've kicked long. O'Keefe at full forward, his tussle with Lloyd is an interesting one. He hasn't had many opportunities but kicked the goal. Leon Harris kicked the vital goal, having the ball farmed out to him, and that would have settled him down too. Big responsibility leading the side in the final. But this is an example of their poor use of the ball. And this is where Werribee are quick, and Fenton, who's done very well in the centre, quickly moved the ball out to Ricky Knight once again. And the defenders have really got to play their forwards a lot closer. They've given them far too much latitude. And they're really fortunate, you know, they've kicked 4-6. Werribee could have quite easily have been 6-3 or 7-3 or 8-2 even. But the defence has been terrific. You know, Domberg's been good, Spearings has been good, Walsh, Fitzpatrick, and Morney on one of the few sorties up forward, kicked the ball long and reaped the rewards. And that was after fine lead-up work from Michelli with that smother that we made mention of in that quarter. Once again, we see Fenton, who's dominating proceedings, and there's that long kick, caught the defence off guard, and O'Keefe scored that goal. And the stats for the match, well,
yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Werribee going with the breeze. You'd expect them perhaps to have less kicks, but you'd think Williamstown going into it might be using more handballs, but it's the other way around. A bit hard to work anything concrete out of the statistics at quarter time in the match. Free kicks going Williamstown's way, so they're obviously trying to put themselves in front. I wonder if they can reap the rewards in this second quarter. They really would, I'm sure, want to be in front at half time, and they may have to be if they're to fight their way right through to the grand final again this year, looking to erase such disappointment that Barry Round and his team have suffered over the last 2 years, beaten in the one that counts by Coburg. Could be a complete changing of the guard this year.
It appears that way. I certainly can't see them on current form, you know, getting over Springvale or Preston. So I think there could be a changing of the guard, and as you mentioned, Peter, I believe if they're not in front at half time, I don't think they will win the game. This is a vitally important quarter for Williamstown. They've got to be more direct. They've got proven goal kickers up forward in Aziz and Rickman in particular. I thought they were a little bit too conscious of Rickman in that opening stanza. You know, they were trying to find him at all occasions, even when he was covered. I thought there were other options that they could have opted for, but I thought they also they didn't run the ball enough into this breeze, and they were found wanting there. But in this quarter with this breeze, you've just got to drill that ball long. And by doing that, you put the opposition defence under enormous pressure. But there's been some interesting tussles even at this early stage of proceedings. That's going to have a huge bearing on the game. Swan must tighten up on Fenton, and the following division of especially O'Connor and Matty Johnson have got to do more.
Ross Booth.
Yes, I listened to Leon Harris. Interestingly, that he'll speak for a while, then he's prompted by Bernie Shea, the chairman of selectors, to about a couple of points that he may have missed. That's an interesting working between those two, the coach and the chairman of selectors. But what Leon really stressed was to continue to be hard at the ball. some people have felt that Werribee have been great movers of the ball, but a little soft, but that's what they've got to do. Keep hard at the ball during this quarter and get those forwards pushing up when the players are coming into the breeze. So forwards must push up and keep getting it hard at the ball. Let's wait and see.
Yes, that's a very good point. It's important, of course, as Ross just stressed then, to be in hard for the ball. Every coach stresses that. They'd like to see that competitiveness come out of their charges.
Werribee in their first division finals appearance, leading by 18 points, going from left to right, and All Day wins the tap. Master in over the top of Swan. By Howlett putting it down. The big men battle again. This time it's Round. Sizer's knock. McMaster. In fact, this is Sizer who gets it forward. McTaggart. Michelli opening up in front of him. Plenty of open spaces, so he goes long. Domberg. Spearings. Tried to touch too much there, Michelli. Nick Walsh. Switching play. Fitzpatrick. Rayburn. Radcliffe. Just gone too far, has he? Or is
no, he held a free kick behind play for holding up.
Johnson's kick has found O'Connor. He's off. Michelli. Well, he was a long way from the action, Wayne Michelli. Really charged at that with determination. His 8th possession. You don't need to be told he's on a pretty acute angle. Makes it a little bit better for himself. He's threaded it.
And what a fine game Wayne Michelli's playing. If they can keep him in this frame of mind.
Really, Walsh would have thought he was a Monty to mark that one. There was no one around him until Michelli stole in.
He chipped in at the right time, and here's a change being made from the Williamstown bench. Onto the field comes Brett Gould. We're about to come on.
Runners out. We'll see who he drags. All those tap. Taken away beautifully there by Smith. Walsh chips in but can't take it with him. Forsyth shepherds for him. Walsh is caught by Aziz. Much more determination from the Willie Fords. Johnson's kick, and it's Michelli again. Here's a goal for Morney. Steaming start from Williamstown, and they're within a goal.
Yes, that was a superb goal. They really did hit the line hard then, the Williamstown players. They made every issue a contest, and there was a superb kick off the ground. A half chance became a full chance when Michelli chimed in, and an unselfish handball over the top to the running Mornay. And it's been a superb opening. And the inspirational Michelli has really lifted the Seagulls.
So Willis off for Williamstown, gone into the rooms. So maybe quite a serious problem. Lesapati to Harris, the ever-reliable Mitchell with him. Oh, that's very tough. Harris will waste no time. Yes, he will. Now, O'Keefe is getting the free kick.
Being held by Lloyd Ross.
We're both holding one another. And who started it, we don't know, but O'Keefe has got the goal, and Lloyd is quite upset. It may well have been that Lloyd's been caught retaliating.
Well, he's a very annoying player, Lloyd, as well as being a good fullback, a close checker. He's a psychology student out there at the Footscray Institute, and he said that in his meeting with Jamie Shaw a few weeks back, he psychologically tried to put Shaw off his game, and trying to do that with O'Keefe, he's come off second best.
Not only that, but I think he might find O'Keefe a different kettle of fish. He doesn't mind mixing it Kekovich Ross, does he?
I don't know, but he's kicked 2 goals, Sam.
It's the most important thing.
McMaster paddles it forward. Smith whips out the hand pass. Micheli been instrumental in this quarter. Out to Aziz. Left it for someone else. That someone else being Forsyth. Into attack. Go the Seagulls, but Fitzpatrick takes the juggling mark.
He's also a very strong player and using that physical strength on the back line to good effect at the moment. McMaster been in everything. Playing his 52nd game, VFA football. 9 possessions. Smith flew from behind, and the man in front, Frank Lezapati. Keith led, it won't make him. Sells flies. Smith's kick smothered. Good recovery. Grant Smith. Oh, charged down well by Mork Harris, but Smith keeps going. This will bounce high. Well trapped by Morney. Good persistence from him as well. It's not pretty at the moment, but no doubting the players' intentions at the moment. Perhaps not just on the ball.
Yes, well, finals football in Werribee never reached the height as a spectacle, but by, gee, they're nice, tough, close checking encounters.
All day wins it. Look for Knight. McMaster there. Swan in possession. Fenton to Knight. Pastore's read this well, anticipated the kick, and he breaks up that attack. Nothing much to kick to. Gould leading short. Rounds made a lead to half forward. He's the target, outnumbered 2-1. At ground level, Fitzpatrick. Morney was quick. Threads his way through. Long bomb. Rickman with Forsyth. Doesn't travel. Aziz has to fly. The big ruckman all day paddles it forward. McMaster and Werribee out of defence. Mitchell. O'Keefe to Harris. And loose is Stephen Sells. Plenty of time. Into the goals. Kicking his first.
Well, that's always a concern when you play on a guy like Sells with McTaggart, who has a tendency to back his judgment. And Sells, very intelligent, size the situation up and drop back and at his poor defence, unattended, virtually in the goal square. And that is a gift goal for Werribee.
Stephen Sells, one of the players in line to be adjudged the kicker of the goal of the year. We'll be showing you the contenders for marks and goal of the year as our pigeon continues to peck Johnny Keogh's well-planted seed. That pigeon very nearly ended up in a pie yesterday. But he's back again. I was talking about the mark and goal of the year. You'll see the contenders at half-time, and there's $1,000 to be won if you can match our selections. Good mark taken there by Pastore.
So too late, Sam will have a kick at half-time.
Johnson. Rayburn coming at him with steam. Making the loose man Howlett. Usually delivers the ball pretty well. And a good long lead from Ian Rickman. And again, I think Rickman was waiting for a player to come down.
Barry Round, I don't know if you heard.
We did. We were,
did,
yes. And Rickman there, Sam, normally he would have taken that mark and immediately thought about kicking the goal, but it seemed like his mind wasn't quite on the job. Let's see if he can post this one. That's why Barry Round wants him to shoot.
Well, exactly, and the fortunes of Williamstown could well be reliant on that right foot of Ian Rickman. And that was the example, a classic example as to why. Because he truly is a great kick. He's one of the best kicks of a football I've ever seen. I've seen many a great player possessing a fine kick.
Do you agree with me that he was looking for someone running down the ground after he'd marked?
There's no question he hasn't played a great deal of football in recent weeks, and he would be down a little bit on confidence, but that should give him the necessary needle to throw himself into the fray with a bit more oomph.
So straight keeping the goals in it. 5 goals straight. Howlett bombs it forward. Spearing 29. Rickman getting away from Forsyth. Centering kick. Micheli. Oh, Domberg had great pace. Micheli gets him high. Spearing's out over Rickman's head. Burton at it. Knight. Rickman's got it. Johnson loose. And Aziz. Rickman should have kicked earlier. Still a chance. Gould paddles forward. Johnson. Tackle, good one by McMaster. Oh, there's another fine tackle. It's really tough. Swan foot the ball very quickly. O'Connor in the pocket. Throwing himself in. And getting the free kick was Domberg.
Maybe he was jet propelled by a big push, Ross, I think. McMaster under pressure, and there's 2 or 3 Williamstown players over there. One of them, Troy Mitchell. Bounce will be a high one, and going end over end, taken by O'Connor. Morney being held off, and Michelli flies. Well, they were really Morney conscious there, and Wayne Michelli making himself busy up forward.
Gee, that exchange of tackling about a minute ago was just superb. Absolutely ferocious, both sides.
And that's why, as you pointed out yesterday, Sam, with Coburg, that if you're carrying a bit of an injury, you'll feel it doubly after a finals match.
You'll get found out in this standard of game.
Forsyth. Walsh's kick. And the mark's taken there by Burton. Howlett calling for it on the wing. And there's a putty. Not trying to get the ball out, but it was on the blind side of the umpire. You had a good view of it. And there is Willis with the tracksuit top on, well, closer to the camera. Rick Sleverson, the other interchange player. So Willis back out of the rooms. He didn't seem to be holding ribs or something during the first quarter. So obviously had a bit of a tension. It's Pastori's kick, looks for Morney, in front as is. And Morney had made the lead. If Jack Aziz can get himself into the game, that's a big avenue for them.
My word, and he's capable of kicking this.
Finished equal ninth in the Liston count, Aziz, with 11 votes. The winner had 14. That shows you how many were up the top of the ladder. Touched off the boot is the call. Well, it's gone 50 metres after being touched. Well,
You know, Jack.
But it just shows you how strong that breeze out. Players are capable of kicking goals from 50 metres. That's why it's imperative for those players to kick long.
First point on the board for the Seagulls. Sizer meantime. Spearings. They're trying to run it into the breeze, Werribee. Howlett through. Johnson. Or Smith waited for it. Gets a bounce. Tackled by Allday. Aziz looking for Gould. O'Connor, and a good tackle by Nick Walsh.
hasn't been a bad move, Walsh onto the half-back flank.
No, he's doing very well.
Fenton's his target. Howlett went defensive. Fed back to Burton from round. Johnson putting himself about a bit more. Morney front position. Couldn't get the rebound. Fitzpatrick and Fenton in concert. It's Fitzpatrick ricocheting it off Sizer. Michelli with that determination we expect from him. Burton looking for Rickman. It swoops over his head, and Smith floating in within scoring range.
It's a fine attacking player, Grant Smith. Possesses great skills, and here we see him floating across the back of the pack on the second attempt. He's a wonderful attacking player. He's just his defensive skills at times leave a little bit to be desired, but distance certainly won't be the problem here.
Looking to make his 8th possession count. They continue their accurate goal kicking. The one behind was a long-range touched shot, and round comes up to Smith. He's another confidence player. If he can feel like he's really getting involved, then they could be hard to stop the Seagulls. One just gets the feeling they could be on the verge of exploding. They are just 4 points behind now.
$14 minutes gone, the second quarter. McMaster.
He's pinged for throwing.
Gee. Well, the umpire's closer. Swan gets the kick. Rickman's led short. Swan goes the other way. O'Connor in front. Grabs the bouncing ball, shooting at goal from the angle and putting it through. And that may be the first explosion.
He's had a fine quarter, Marcus O'Connor. Battled hard in that first quarter, but I'll tell you the guy that's instrumental in turning this around is Wayne Michelli, who would have been in receipt of a free kick, but the umpire paid the advantage rule, rightly so, and O'Connor streaming with the ball goalwards, and it was a fine angle goal under a lot of pressure at full pace. But Michelli's work up forward, he's really got that Werribee defence at 6s and 7s.
So Williamstown hit the front for the first time this afternoon. O'Connor again. Aziz can't steal the man in front, Terry Domberg. But Aziz knew,
Stay there now.
or made Domberg know, that he'd had to earn the mark. Fitzpatrick gets one in the back from McTaggart. No, the ball will be brought back. They've played the advantage rule at every opportunity, the umpires.
You're right on him.
They are nicely in control of this game, the men in canary yellow. This is Richie Rayburn.
Right, back around now.
Back into the team this week. Didn't play in round 18. Injury or not. No, it was a suspension, wasn't it, Ross? Injury, Rayburn.
Injury.
Missed the last game. Yeah.
And missed out in the Western by
2 votes would have been enough to win it for him in that last game. So 12 possessions today. This is a little bit of a lull in proceedings. It might suit Werribee because they were on a bit of a roll, Williamstown. They kicked 5 goals to 2 in this quarter.
Keep going.
Skill by Rayburn on the left foot. Mitchell chasing. Into attack the Bees. Gould didn't make much effort. Attempt, perhaps he couldn't. Arms up in. That's the version.
You held to him.
According to umpire David Howlett. Barry round on the right. His opponent, Frank Lessaputty. Foot to ball. Travel 2 metres. Knights under great pressure.
It's not pretty stuff, Ross, but by gee, it's hard. Players giving all of themselves. It's a fine game, fine final.
The elimination final. The loser to drop out. Swan. Smith. Spearings with him. Fenton. Radcliffe. Sells is loose. Burton charging at him. Umpire says it's all right. McMaster on his wrong foot. Sells in the pocket. Good skills by McMaster. Yeah.
No, I'll call him.
Stephen Sells.
I've got it, though.
Settling, he may well have a shot. Good angle from the camera. Oh, and a bit of a push by O'Keefe on Lloyd.
21 minutes gone. Mitchell.
He's been very tight, Mitchell.
Goes towards Smith. Round also now getting involved in the contest. Spearings. Well, I'm quite happy to see it over, really.
Somewhat astray with his hand pass.
Don't know that McMaster would have been able to get clear anyway, Sam. All day against Round. Smith. Swan's hot. Still gets away from Fenton. Two points the difference. Williamstown lead. Coming up to the 19-minute mark.
The 2 big men rounded all day. Spearings. Sizer in front of Pastore. Sells. Tackle when he didn't have it, but Taggart. Oh, well, he's going it the other way.
Consistent with that.
Gee, that was tough.
It was there, I feel, Ross.
All right. Now can Sells put in a tackle. Pastore as Williamstown run it out of defence. Mitchell strange over the top kick. makes it hard for Howlett. Backs up well, Mitchell. To half forward. Fitzpatrick with Morney. Fitzpatrick clearing. Rayburn, courage shown.
Come back, come back, come back! 50 metres!
Just 2 points the difference. A 50-metre penalty going the way of the Tigers. Against Gould. So, for the moment, Werribee held on.
Come back, Line.
Sky's getting clearer all the time. Bright sunshine. As O'Keefe leads to the pocket. Here comes the pass. Oh, well done, Lloyd. Right with him, McMaster the crumbs. Harris diving, couldn't quite hold it. Barry round. And through Swan, the Seagulls clear out to Pastore.
Interchange has been made. Rick Sleveson's come on for Williamstown, replacing Matt Johnson.
Come out, 22! Come out!
The ball will go in the Sleveson direction. Out over his head now. Fly from Aziz. Sleveson takes it.
And we've seen on previous occasions, Peter, when Sleveson's come on from the interchange bench, it gives them that added bit of bite and pace and capable of kicking one or two quick goals.
All day. Little Footscray Ruckman getting it down there towards Sleveson, who got one in the back from former teammate Richie Rayburn. A little bit of feeling
On the mark, Dave.
evident there. Rayburn frustrated that he wasn't getting the #1 Rovers spot at Willie as the knock on from Smith goes past Brickman. Takes Knight out of it illegally, says the umpire. Well, as well as the marks and goals of the year at half-time, we've got the latest final from the Wards Express Sprints series. Sam's picked out the winner from the heats earlier on today, and we'll also be looking at some of the highlights from yesterday's qualifying final, that big win by Springvale. Pastore calling for it back from Burton, gives it to Michele instead. Chipping in well was Knight. Done the bulk of his work at that end of the ground so far in the match. Away goes McMaster. He goes now to O'Keefe, who's doubled back. Sells it, keeps it in play.
Just looking at Billy Swan, he just doesn't seem free in his action this afternoon. He may be carrying some sort of injury, but he's certainly struggling a little bit out there at the moment.
Just got the feeling Williamstown relaxed after hitting the front a little bit. Werribee back into it. Walsh from only 20 metres. Had to kick hurriedly. Lloyd. Taggart. Just finessing a bit, Williamstown. Sleveson. Aziz. Rickman's led. And that's a good pass from Aziz.
It's a wonderful passage of play, and this guy, well, he certainly is capable of kicking it.
Just the one goal today. Had the ball a lot, given it away a few times. Back from Footscray during the year. 8 kick to Rickman. Long one. So back to 2 points the difference. Nothing in it this elimination final. Just a shake of the head from Ian Rickman. Disappointed with the shot.
Hasn't really been able to get back to peak fitness since that injury. Cut short his second go at VFL football.
Free kick! Against you, holding! Free kick there, Knight!
Well, up ground, Sleveson's given away a free kick to Ricky Knight. He seems to have swapped with Nick Clark. Here's Domberg. Nick Walsh, rather. McMaster. The boundary umpire did well to keep his feet as he backed out of the action, keeping an eye on the football on the boundary line.
Well, they're under a lot of pressure too.
Reserve umpire or emergency umpire there, Brian Bullis. Watching proceedings. Pastore. Gould running from Sleveson. Still in it, Morney. Long hand pass, very good from Gould. Aziz over the top to Rickman, and Rickman gets number 2.
Well, that is linkage at its absolute best. They really stretched the Werribee defence by their quick movement of the ball by hand, and the overlap was on from the outset. The minute the Sleverson got held up and the hurried kick from Pastori ended up with Aziz. Aziz quickly over to Rickman, and easy as you like, the champion spearhead threads through his second and, more importantly, Williamstown's 8th.
Well, they took a while to follow up those 5 goals with the 6th of the quarter.
Yes, Pete, I thought Werribee rallied well there for that 5-10 minute period, which was a crucial stage of the game. It could have got away from them.
All day gets it down nicely to Knight. Walsh. Sells dropping back at the edge of the goal square, as he so often does. His handling lets him down, and he almost flicked it for the volley from Harris.
Was the umpire signaling that touched or what?
Yes, touched, that it was rushed, that Harris never made contact.
Here
with
it is.
Sells it almost knocked it through the goals.
I see, yes. Didn't touch it with his foot. They don't miss a thing, goal umpires. Lloyd. Domberg over the top. This is dangerous. A goal resulted like this a moment ago. Sleverson to Aziz. O'Connor trapped it. Gets it out to Aziz. Rickman in good position. Spoilt by Forsyth. Dropped the mark. Still under great pressure. Rickman paddles it out. Morney can't get clear. And O'Connor with a volley. That was adventuresome.
Very lucky to escape there, Werribee.
And Forsyth really barreled into the back of Rickman there, and he's a bit
On the mark, thanks.
tender as he heads back to just let the fullback know he didn't appreciate it too much. Here's Domberg.
Play on.
Pressured by Michelli. A little bit laboured as he ran after that one. Gary Walpole, who's just come on from interchange, and during the week he became a father. His wife Bernadette presented him with a daughter Leah, so congratulations to the Walpole family. Just 2 days ago, I believe. Handball out from from Gould. There's the other interchange, Sleverson, Swan, Howlett. Hasn't been in the best of form over the last few weeks, and Rayburn got it clear. Good work there by Walsh now. Oh, puts Sells under pressure. Good strength. The goal from O'Keefe. Well, they had to work hard for that one, but Philip O'Keefe gets his 3rd of the match, 2nd of the quarter.
Yes, well, Howlett just had an attack of the fumbles there where they were intercepted. It was a fine play, firstly from Harris, getting the long handball onto Walsh. And Sells held his ground very well from that lunging tackle from Lloyd over the unattended O'Keefe. That was a valuable goal for Werribee, almost at siren time.
Yes, Walsh at centre half forward with Lesapati off the ground and Walpole filling in Walsh's spot at half-back. There's Nick Walsh, number 5, with Andrew Howlett, the centre half-back for the Seagulls. Just 2 points the margin. Nearly 28 minutes gone. Second quarter, elimination final at Port Melbourne. Around wins an important tap. Morney, a quick kick. Over it goes. Loose territory. Forsyth has read it well. Leon Harris chasing with Michelli.
Hold it, thanks.
The Colossus round against the more beanpole all day. Got it to Forsyth. Threaded the handball. Cut out from Harris, hoping to find Knight. Pressure on Swan. Spearings right in the action there. Fenton's kick taken gratefully by Burton. 29 minutes into the second quarter. Williamstown hanging on to a 2-point lead. Who's behind the pack? It's Walpole. Shepherded out by Domberg, allowing some space, and Walpole continues on. Knight under pressure from 2. Here's Burton. Werribee have the numbers here. Oh, then Rickman comes in with a tackle. No chance, says the umpire, for Terry Domberg to get it out.
Great tackle by Rickman. Really pinned the arms of Domberg.
Bounced by umpire Carland. Round looking for Aziz. The Werribee defence holding up well. Gould. Quick kick by Aziz. Oh, lots of holding there. Fitzpatrick, who can get there first? Off the ground by Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick following up tonight. Oh, they may be in trouble now. Flock of seagulls are there, but still the Tigers possessed. Fitzpatrick once more. Good effort by the full back or defender. Walsh the fist, a good one. He's caught behind Sizer. Just couldn't get enough carry on the ball to find Sells, who was dropping back.
McTaggart finding Gould. This could be the last opportunity of the quarter for Williamstown, and it's Michelli who has that opportunity. 40 metres out, about a 50-degree angle. 13th possession for Wayne Michelli.
From there.
Going for his second goal. Round back on the line if he shouldn't make the distance. It's a goal! Moose, they call from the grandstand.
Rue Michelli. Yes, I know what you're saying.
Wrong
Pete.
animal, Sam, but there's no doubting this man's commitment to the Williamstown Football Club.
And McTaggart played a vital role. He showed great presence of mind, moving the ball on quickly from the half-back line when he marked, ending up with Michelli, and what a fine goal.
What a long quarter, 31 minutes. We've had a couple of balls kicked into Williamstown Road by Williamstown. Swan, another one perhaps. O'Connor, Pastore looks up, looks for Rickman. Sleverson lurking at the back. Domberg's given it away. Smith tumbles a punt towards goal, but misses.
Tackle knocked it out. The tackle knocked it out.
It's Michelli, his opponent Walpole. An unusually long quarter, nearly up to 32 minutes now. Spearings wants to touch it. No, the breeze took it out on the full. Wasting no time, Gould. So the quarter will go into its 33rd minute.
Go back, stay on the fence before I blow
7
time
goals
off.
kicked by Williamstown in the term, 3 by Werribee.
Now blow time off.
Now he's played on again. Maybe this will be the final opportunity. Round got a hand to that. He'll do the ruck work now, try and put it to advantage. A very handy major this would be, right on the half-time siren. Might do it all, Barry Round.
Umpire Hallett now. And Werribee have lots of men back there, trying to clog the Williamstown forward line. All day. Domberg. And relief for the Tigers as the siren sounds for half-time.
Well, just when Williamstown looked like they might be about to overrun Werribee, they showed some great fighting characteristics, the Werribee side, and got 2 further goals of their own in that turn. They kicked 3 in all for the quarter, while Werribee kicked 7. Williamstown kicked 7. The multiple goal kickers for Williamstown, Michelli has 2, as does Morney and Rickman, while for Werribee 3 goals to Philip O'Keefe. There's nothing in it at half-time after they led by 18 points at quarter-time. Werribee trail by 9 to Williamstown, half-time in the VFA Elimination Final. The Wards Express Sprint is coming up. half-time action from the VFA Final Series. But before that, we'll take a look at the 6 contenders for Goal and Mark of the Year. And come the Grand Final, we'll announce our selections as the respective Mark and Goal of the Year that we've selected. If your selection matches ours, then you could win $1,000 from Australia Post. But over the next 2 weeks, you get a chance to look at the contenders. So let's take a look at our goals and marks of 1990.
Goal 1, Rob Prosser, Springvale.
Chips it for Robinson. Littler with him, angled from the side. Oh, Prosser dangerous. That's a good snap. Brilliant snap, Rob Prosser.
Goal 2, Coburg's Brett Weatherall.
Weatherall against Thorogood. Weatherall with strength. Brilliant goal. Goal of the day from Brett Weatherall.
Goal 3, Simon Clark, Springvale.
Trying to get it, kid. He's got some pace now. That is a brilliant snap by Simon Clark. He showed great pace there. Made complete fools of Phil and I.
Goal 4, Billy Kakur, Coburg.
Centering kick. All Springvale. Smith. Kakur nips in. Number 4. Yes!
Goal 5, Werribee's Stephen Sells.
Into attack go Werribee. Sells looks like he's been moved to full forward. Hotly pressed by Kanarakis once again. Well tackled. Sells shoots over his shoulder.
All clear!
And it's full point.
And goal 6, Scott Gilder, Dandenong.
The cruelest of bounces. Dandenong's awake and Gilder. Gilder can pick it up. Swings around onto his left foot. Doesn't matter anyway. It's full points.
Gee, that was a great goal.
Recapping our 6 goals of the year. Goal 1, Rob Prosser. Goal 2, Brett Weatherall. Goal 3, Simon Clark. Goal 4, Billy Kakur. Goal 5, Stephen Sells. Goal 6, Scott Gilder. Now to our marks of the year. Mark 1, Paul Sullivan, Coburg.
Tackle with class. Oh, the big grab from Sullivan.
A spring-loaded leap from very little run-up and a first-time grasp. Mark 2, Williamstown's Brett McTaggart.
Up Bailey has to fly, and there's a great one from McTaggart.
Another high-altitude one-grab beauty, executed with the balance to immediately get the ball away. Mark 3, Scott Hicks, Box Hill.
Target is Hicks. He's got... Oh! He foreshadowed that with a big leap in the second quarter.
Even in the rarefied atmosphere, the eyes were on nothing but the ball. Mark 4, Glenn Rakavolis, Coburg.
Morgan with the kick for Springvale. Rakavolis! 2 great grabs in the space of 30 seconds.
A simple spoil wasn't enough. The fine jump from the side set up a beautiful steal. Mark 5, Preston's Adrian Marcon.
Recorded tomorrow. Frank the Gunner exploding as Marcon takes a brilliant mark.
What a mark.
Oh.
That is just a beautiful grab from the little man.
And Mark 6, Jamie Shaw, Preston.
Just between these 2.
Shaw well out from goal. That's a mark. A free kick. You name it.
Well, if ever the pitcher tells a story there's one thing you just can't do with this man. That's playing from behind for obvious reasons. It is the body, the strength, the extended claws.
Our 6 marks of the year are 1, Paul Sullivan. Mark 2, Brett McTaggart. Mark 3, Scott Hicks. Mark 4, Glenn Rakavolis. Mark 5, Adrian Marcon. And Mark 6, Jamie Shaw. To enter the Australia Post Goal and Mark of the Year competition, mark your winning selection in each category on the back of an envelope along with your name and address. Post it to the VFA, Box 97, East Melbourne 3002. And if yours is the first entry drawn, which matches our panel selections, then you're the 1990 winner.
$1,000 is the prize, and it's not an easy job to pick the Mark and Goal of the Year. Some very even contenders there. We haven't made our minds up yet. On the 19th of September, you have to have your entry in to VFA House, and we'll announce our selections and the winner of the $1,000 from Australia Post during the Grand Final presentation from Princes Park. Well, let's continue the Wards Express Sprint Series now. The sun's shining. Ground just a little bit holding, I think. They've run the heats earlier on today, and Eddie Bush to take us through the field for the final.
Thanks, Peter. Well, we've got a great field here today. We've got Kevin Oakey in the red from 6 metres. Oakey is one of Australia's top steeplechasers over 400 metres. He's won a couple of gifts in the pro ranks. Nick Gregg, who's third on the list of point scorers so far in this Wards Express race. He's in the white. Craig Headington, who is in second place. Henshaw, Paul, the surprise last week. Weeks, O'Neill and Howie as the limit marker, last week's winner. They're on their way now, and Doug Howie, it is the runner in the grey that's out in front, from Jim O'Neill, who actually is a bookmaker on Saturday, so he can run on a Sunday. This is his first start this year, and he's out in front now. Phil Weeks is in third place. Then further behind them, then the back markers not making very much impression at all, and Jim O'Neill, who had one of the fastest heats times out in front, he shows the way. There's the back markers there now with Oakey just beginning to make ground, but they're a long way from the leaders. Jim O'Neill, it is, that'll straighten up for home. Doug Howie, last week's winner's in second place. Phil Weeks is third, and then Craig Headington around the outside. But Jim O'Neill with his first start for the year, and he's going to take it out. Jim O'Neill, Howie battling on, and that'll make sure of a finals place for him. Jim O'Neill first, Howie second, Craig Headington would be third. Flashing up on the inside of the track then was Paul at the completion of the event. No doubt about the winner though. Number 7, the black, Jim O'Neill, from 44 metres was first. The grey, Doug Howie, from 50 metres was second. And the blue, Craig Headington, was officially third. That's the official placings, and now Ross has the winner down there. Jim O'Neill, first start and up with a win in the final.
Well, James or Jim, good win. Whatever you like. Winner's grin. You're from Tasmania?
Yeah, come down from Tassie. See the scar just there, you know, the old routine.
Oh, no, we didn't say that. Your first run of the season?
Yeah, well, I'm a bookmaker at the races, and I think that's a bit easier than doing this.
Where were you yesterday?
Hobart.
Hobart?
Yeah, Hobart yesterday.
So you've paid your fare?
Well, we have to make up a bit. We laid a few favourites that got up. Doesn't make you too happy.
Well done, Jim O'Neill or James O'Neill, the winner today.
Thanks, boss.
Well, straight from Elwick to the Northport Oval, and he's done pretty well too. Did you have some money with him there, Sam, because you thought you had the winner of that race?
Well, I did. You know, I've got a close rapport with Eddie Bush, our caller, and having been involved in pro outs before with a legendary figure called John Tolman, I know what goes on behind the scenes. And Eddie had alluded me to a dark horse in the field, but he'll keep for another day, Eddie. I'm sure that he'll come to light one day sooner or later.
Yes.
Off a better mark, I'm sure.
Great entertainment during halftime in the VFA as we get into the finals, and the big final is on preliminary final day. Well, let's take a look at some highlights from yesterday's qualifying final played here at the Port Melbourne ground, and it was a convincing win by Springvale. After they trailed by 29 points at quarter time, they failed to kick a goal. They kicked 23 goals in the remainder of the game, and they really finished on very strongly. And I know Barry Round, talking to him before the game, and Leon Harris, was impressed with the way the Vales did it. And the team that wins here today will be hoping they don't have to meet them, say, in the preliminary final, but it's going to be a very interesting confrontation. We're going to take a look at second half highlights of this game. And Sam, do you think Coburg can possibly come back from a thrashing like they received yesterday?
Well, I have reservations regarding it, Peter, but certainly it was an awesome display by Springvale. After a tentative and undisciplined first quarter, they really bounced back in the next 3 quarters, and this guy on screen, Dempster, was a vital cog in that resurgence. Not to mention Robinson at full forward. It was absolutely a devastating display of full forward work, taking 17 marks and kicking 5-10. And here's Dempster again, fine overhead. Their overhead work, both Dempster and Robinson, was superb, quickly getting the ball on forward. And there's Anderson, who was a valuable player, Peter, when he came on in that second half, kicked 3 goals. Gave them plenty of movement, and the goal results. They're compelled to kick the packs out of defence hurriedly. They can't set up play like they did in that first quarter, Neil.
Michael Jeffs, penetrating kick, Darby, front position, Dempster nebs it over the top. Waste no time. Loose man is Phillips. He'll settle down and look for number 2 in this quarter. Wizard Phillips gets his second of the quarter. Springvale go from strength to strength, and one wonders what Coburg can do to stop it. Coop. Jeff's going past. Inside 50. Oh, great evasion from Jeffs. A little chip for Anderson. He should play on and goal. That could just about be the sealer in the first minute and a half of the last term. Or any side in the encounter. 34 points. They look to build on at the Vales. Coop's pass. Dempster taking it away from Robinson. Graham Dempster's kick 2 goals. Make it 3. They're looking to really ram it down Coburg's throat here.
Running straight at the ball. Langan. Drops in Comito's hands. Young's the target. And finds him. Oh, off he goes. Might have been a bad option. No, nice sidestep. And puts it through. Second goal to Terry Young. So the move for the moment has worked. Peacock. Oh, good grab from Malin. Out to Clark. Just travelled the 10 metres.
A bit of a battle here, I think, going on for man of the match. Clark putting in some big vote-getting performances. Robinson will be right in there also. Phillips has been a 4-quarter player. Anderson can kick 3 goals.
Lovely tap backhander from Clark to Malin. To Maloney. Atkins, clever, oh, breakaway, can run all the way. Nimmo coming from the side, but Atkins too much pace and kicks his third.
Nimmo towards Angwin, and there you see he and Langan not talking. They were talking so much in the first half. Prosser threads it. First goal for Robbie Prosser.
Coop, the assistant coach. Out to Maloney. Spearing kick. Very effective. Keith Robinson, number 15 overhead. Well, that wasn't overhead. Wonder what thoughts are running through his mind now.
Mark Robbie.
Graham Dempster claps it through. And there's a big smile. Relief as he finally notches a major. His 5th. Reynolds from Kekovich should... well, he didn't shepherd. He ran on, accepted the hand pass. Darby over the top. Young for number 3.
Well, last hurrah there to the end. A few goals for Terry Young for Coburg, but 28 points was the difference at 3-quarter time, and they were toyed with, the reigning premiers, by Springvale, who won by 73 in the end.
Yes, Peter, as I mentioned, it was an awesome display, and it certainly holds them in good stead for next week's encounter against Preston. But Coburg I really find it difficult to see them bounce back, and we'll see an incident on screen very shortly, which, you know, we made comment upon yesterday, and the fortunes of Coburg could very well hinge on this particular incident that occurred between 2 Coburg players. Unfortunately, Terry Young came through and collected his own teammate in Littler, and Littler's been such an important part of Coburg's makeup this year. Slightly concussed. You know, it's going to be doubtful whether he'll come back this week, but he's been the Mr. Fix-It man in the Coburg defence, every hard assignment, which speaks volumes for the guy's not only character but his ability as well.
Well, he suffered concussion, and just talking to Phil Cleary, what I could understand of Phil as he croaked to me on the phone was that he'll be okay, but I think that might be a bit more wishful thinking than anything else, because concussion's not something you want to rush back for, but they really are desperate, I think, Coburg, to continue their run towards winning those 3 premierships in a row. Well, there's one game to wrap up AFL football in the home and away for 1990, and it's at the SCG in Richmond, continuing on well against the Sydney Swans there, and they've got a 55-point lead at half-time or thereabouts. Well, in this one, really nothing in it, Sam. 9 points, neither here nor there, given the way the game's been played so far between Williamstown and Werribee.
No, Peter, it's been a very, very even first half of football. You know, the fortune has been swayed back to and fro. In the first quarter, it appeared Werribee had the ascendancy. Williamstown fought back well, but there really isn't a great deal in the game, and I wouldn't like to predict the winner at this stage of proceedings anyway. But I just feel at times Williamstown have got the more awesome firepower, and they feel as though they're capable of rattling on 4 or 5 quick goals, and I think that might be the difference in the final analysis. If they can get the ball to Rickman and give him enough opportunities, he's just capable of kicking, you know, the long goals that'll, you know, could well be the difference.
Well, let's see if Ross Booth has got that impression. He's been around the rooms during half-time.
Thanks, Peter. Well, it's 1-1 in the injuries department. David Willis, number 3 of Williamstown, their defender, has cracked ribs, I believe, and unlikely to take any further part of the match. And Richie Rayburn, Werribee's rover, had an injection in his ankle. That's the ankle that's been troubling him. And just looking at him out there at centre-half forward outside the square, he looks to be a little tentative on that ankle.
Yes, well, that's a sad loss for Werribee. Rayburn, in particular, being one of their crummers, and gives them plenty of pace and spirit around the packs. I think Williamstown are more capable of covering the loss of Willis than Werribee are with covering the loss of Rayburn. But anyhow, time will tell.
Williamstown through Round get the first touch of the third quarter, leading by 9 points. Round takes McMaster down. Burton, clever little handball there, back to Aziz, charging through McTaggart. Michele can go for home, he's told to do so. Smith back there, letting it go. And it just ran the wrong side of the post.
Yes, the all-important third quarter, often regarded as the premiership quarter. But Werribee really must kick 2 or 3 quick goals.
Another chance for Forsyth. Walpole, good strength shown there. Sizer calling for it, but he's handballed instead. And now they can work the loose man. Rickman, a despairing dive at Walpole. Through the hands of O'Keefe. There he is again, number 8. Taken away now by the fullback Lloyd for Williamstown. McTaggart really has to just go high and hope. In comes Fitzpatrick. Not wanted by Geelong earlier in the season, let go off their list after being drafted. Puts it to half forward for Werribee. Harris taken over by Knight. Sizer, quick hands. The handball a bit too low for Walsh. Former Geelong and Essendon player. As Burton, former Richmond player, gets it to Lloyd, former Carlton player. Aziz getting it off now to Pastore. Smith. Good lead made by Morney. Oh, Fitzpatrick, timely interception, and he keeps going straight at the ball, Lyndon Fitzpatrick. The Werribee fans enjoyed that. McMaster. Too close to Radcliffe, but back to McMaster. Harris. Being pressured by Mitchell. Calling for it. O'Keefe. Rayburn's also there. No side able to win effective possession at the moment. A helter-skelter start to the third quarter.
Yes, very, very tight. Peter, and Troy Mitchell in the back pocket for Williamstown is playing a very, very sound game. Very tight.
Round beautifully down there. Sizer. Delayed beautifully with the handball. Fitzpatrick didn't get a good bounce. Here's Burton. O'Connor on the rebound. It's the Seagulls. O'Connor told to keep running it. He can get it back. No, Gould decides to go for home. Aziz will let it go. No, he's grabbed it. Great presence of mind from Jack Aziz. It looked like it was going through for a goal, but he snatched it as it was going the wrong side of the post. And he did it so nonchalantly. Jack Aziz.
You bend this back with a banana.
Hasn't kicked a goal today. 14th possession.
Don't go in.
No mistake. 16 points up are Williamstown.
And he really has tried valiantly, Jack Aziz. He's thrown his body in and he's given them plenty of contest. And here's that passage of play, Marcus O'Connor, with paddocks of room to run in, gets the ball onto Gould. And Gould's long shot for goal, and there's Aziz, cool as you like with the outstretched left hand, and kicks truly. As I've said, Aziz has given them plenty of bite and mobility across that half-forward line, contested every issue, knocked the ball on, given them aerial contest, working hard.
Knight's kick forward.
And this guy's done nothing wrong, Peter. Pastore being solid as a rock.
No, superb finals footballer. Burton. He's been prominent. Back it goes to Mitchell. Domberg throws it out. Advantage again played. Mitchell's kick. Michelli. Baroo goes for home. Smith. Oh, great work there by Forsyth. Then holds him off. I think they'll let it go for Rickman's goal. But Forsyth did terrific work against Smith, who couldn't shrug him off. But Forsyth became a bit of a limpet and wouldn't let him go.
Yes, well, there was no question that the free would have been paid to Smith. But the advantage paid there was like a limpet mine, Peter. But Rickman chipped in and kicked his third major for the match. But the lead-up play by Michelli once again instrumental in that. And Williamstown just opening up a gap on them now. And Grant Smith has played a superb attacking game after a slow early start. But he's just got exceptional skills, Grant Smith.
So the margin 18 points. Small scoreboard now corrects itself. All Day wins again. Fenton. Pistori. Trapping it. Sells. Trying to get it out onto Harris. And getting there. So there's a good battling goal from the Tigers. Harris gets his second. And the quick reply.
And it was important that they not only got the goal, but got it back quickly, Ross, because a gap of 3 or 4 goals in the way the match is going is a vast one. And it was important they got themselves back in the hunt.
Thanks, Steve.
And that was a fine snap by Harris. Once again, good work by Sells. And Allday's doing well in the ruck. He's doing very well, and he's getting the ball to Fenton, who normally ends up on the end of his knockouts.
Got it down that time to McMaster. Spearings. Walpole. Pistori. Couldn't hold it. Mitchell. Weighing up the options. O'Connor. Smith. Around, couldn't get it clear. All Day down. Then tackles O'Connor. Good play from Knight. Searching handball. Who's it find? It finds Ratcliffe. High tackle. Advantage is played. Sleverson won't hit the free kick in the end, but there's O'Connor legged. Swan starting to match Fenton. Or maybe it's Fenton just dropping out of the game, but he started off like a house on fire in the middle. Smith's kick. Michelli can't make up the ground. It's Fitzpatrick. Torpedo to the other edge of the square. Sizer wanting to play on, getting it beautifully down to McMaster. Here's Spearings, the backman. Oh, beautiful delivery. And the tenacious Tigers hanging on to Werribee, Williamstown, who started off the quarter so well. They've got 2 goals back to make it 10 points the difference.
Yes, they're hanging very well, and Spearings has played a fine game. See this long driving kick. Yes, doing very, very well.
We'll see him doing that at the Western Oval next year, Barry Spearings.
When you're talking about All Day, number 14, I don't think Terry Wheeler has given up on him either, Ross. Is perhaps getting back to a VFL career or AFL career.
Fenton, Sleverson. Barry Round looks at his elbow. Chatting there to David Howlett.
Yes, no, Keefe's been moved to centre half forward. Sells to full forward.
Domberg, Fenton. Spearings. Lots of time has Spearings. Over to Walsh. Good kick of the football. Looks for Sells.
Well, that was poor. That was a poor option, Ross. You know, Sells leading to a pocket. The ball would have been far better off centred to give the marking prowess of O'Keefe a chance.
Doing that in the first quarter early on. O'Keefe, McTaggart. Leon Harris putting in the high tackle.
Waiting for Round to get in position on the wing. McTaggart. It's knocked away from Big Barry. Left behind by Gould. Spearings to Rayburn. might nearly get a free kick here, Sells.
Yes.
He almost wrestled clear to take the mark anyway. But Stephen Sells, a very dangerous man. And very aware of that was McTaggart. 11 possessions for Stephen Sells. 1 goal, 2 so far.
From there.
Difference back to 3 points. Werribee have kicked the last 3 goals. And the horn is stuck, I think, on the Mr. Whippy van.
You know, whilst he hasn't been a devastating player that we've seen on previous occasions, he's still been a very valuable contributor. And he's a player that always takes 1 or 2 players to keep him subdued. And he puts the defence under enormous pressure with his agility, his mercurial reading of the game and his elusiveness. And the way Werribee have set up their forward structure, him at full forward and virtually solo in the entire forward line with plenty of space to move in.
Even contest in the middle. Gould clears it from the square. Walpole. As Harris puts in a fine side bump. Walsh. Fendon holding his shoulder. Fed out, Sizer to Spearings. Finds Rayburn. Knight. But the paddle didn't find a teammate. Not out of trouble, the Seagulls. Burton heads for the boundary line. So does Swan. And the Seagulls caught in a bit of trouble there. 13 points the difference it was in round 12 between these two sides. They're only meeting so far this year. It's another close contest. O'Keefe. Sells, twisting, turning. Boundary line, volley by Knight. Oh,
good save, wasn't it?
Wasn't it, indeed. Troy Mitchell.
I thought we were nearby Middle Park there for a second. Round from behind has to spoil O'Keefe.
Well, really, they've got themselves back in the last 10 minutes with just sheer aggressive football. And if there was a question mark regarding their aggression previously, well, it's certainly not evident here today.
Gould, although good luck than management, finds Smith. O'Connor used his body well there.
Been a wonderful player, Marcus O'Connor.
Shielded off nicely. Lead from Rickman. Chipping in. Very handy defender, or he's more than that, reliable. Fitzpatrick. Rayburn. Wanting to play on and forgot to take the mark. Sleverson the spin. Swan. Michele under huge pressure from Fitzpatrick. Morney. Michele clears a path for Rickman. Caught by the tenacious Forsyth. Where is it? Spearings. Been all over the ground. Brown spoons it up for Smith and he gets it back. Burton picks out Swan, who should play on. Aziz leads, now he goes back towards the line. 2 against 1. And the numbers win out. Fitzpatrick. Knight might have got the free kick, and then he just delivers a little tap to the midriff of Mitchell.
Fortunate to retain possession there, Ricky Knight.
He's at half-back. 13 minutes gone. Third quarter elimination final.
Play on!
Just 4 points the difference. Howlett into the breeze for the Seagulls. O'Connor.
Thanks, Leon!
Getting a bit more of the ball. Over the top, Sleverson. Evades the tackle. Or put down as he kicked it, says the umpire. Spearings, who's defending very strongly. Good user of the ball. He's looking for options now. And he chooses a good one. McMaster drops it. Pistori, Rickman. Jack Aziz. 40 metres out from goal. A touch more, you can see the line just moving out of screen. 50-metre line, there it is now. But into a slight breeze. And in the back of screen, Sleverson in the hands of a trainer. Aziz punts for goal. Wrong side of the post. 5 points. The lead now to Williamstown.
shaking his head. Jack just leant back on the ball then instead of leaning forward and following through.
14.5 minutes gone. All day couldn't get the third grab. Great tenacious work from the bottom of the pack. Burton finding Morney. He is a touch closer to goal than Aziz, but you can see the angle. Kick 2. Crowd like it from the moment it leaves his boot. A mark or a goal. It's a mark for Jack Aziz. Williamstown fans like that kick, and they'll like this even better. A goal to make the difference 10 points.
Banana this way, Sam.
He'll move it to his left, and on his left foot again, he just sneaks it through.
he was moving before you nominated him.
Well, I want to make a certainty of it, Ross.
2 goals in this quarter for Jack Aziz.
Well, I'm sure Leon Harris wouldn't be.
Gould, great work there with
yes.
that handball.
Good vision by Burton and a good long kick, but I'm sure Leon Harris would have will have a word to his defenders, because it was poor defensive work by the Werribee defenders, allowing Aziz to mark. Here we see, you know, not even a Werribee defender in sight. Should have been a big fist coming over the top there.
Nearly 16 minutes gone of the third term. O'Connor. Spearing's having a big quarter. Centres it towards Harris. Mitchell. Stalemate.
Hold on. Find the ball.
Barry Spearing's 20 possessions for the match so far. Been a good player. Walsh has to ruck. Sells, having trouble grabbing it. Pastore. Howlett. The arms of Big All Day. Morney, quick recovery. Through the tackle. Fitzpatrick, who's not quick, is after him. Morney's given Rickman a big chase out in front of the Goss stand. He's got a break of 10 metres. Gathers around one opponent. Looking for Gould. Bad bounce. Losing it perhaps. They have in the back. This could be costly. Knight is a good kick. Long, 2-on-1, Sells at the back. Rayburn's marked.
Good mark. Away.
And what looked to be a possible Williamstown goal, as that opportunity is gone, and Rayburn should penalise
from there
those mistakes further up the ground. The difference is 11 points. This to make it 5. Rayburn kicks his first.
Well, Williamstown have got no one to blame but themselves for allowing Rayburn in for that goal, because they should have virtually kicked an easy goal themselves. And here we see the long kick, once again catching the Williamstown defence off guard, and Rayburn read it perfectly behind the back of the pack, positioned himself accordingly, and more importantly converted.
All Day again gets it down. It's Swan who gets it out of the middle. Bad bounce for Sleverson. Knight. Domberg. Radcliffe. Ball is Lloyd, and the mark's taken not by Ross Booth but O'Keefe prone.
That's a good kick to position, Ross.
You see Lloyd, the fullback, way underneath it. And that is, well, a late contender for Mark of the Year.
That would win it for sure.
I think there was a good reason why he was underneath it.
Stay behind him.
Get a nice nudge.
Right now.
35 metres out. O'Keefe puts the Tigers in front.
Yes, a 1-point ball game we've got in our hands here. The pendulum favouring one side, then back to the other, and really Werribee have clawed themselves back into this game most admirably after a 21-point deficit early in this third quarter. but they've stuck to their task, their game plan. Full confidence in each other, kicking the ball long.
Yes, what moves should be made? Asked that lady. Werribee in front by a solitary point. All days had a good quarter. Harris, Long, O'Keefe and Lloyd. Neither got a hand on that.
They're just getting plenty of possession around that centre bounce area.
So Williamstown grabbed the lead halfway through the second quarter, and now Werribee back in front. The breeze favouring them. Rayburn. High ball, he's put down and getting the free kick. It's going downfield.
No, I think he's playing it.
Well, the kick only went forward 10 metres anyway, so it has been played downfield.
Stephen Sells has kicked 2.
Gee, that's disappointment, as displayed on the faces of that Werribee gathering.
Daryl Fenton there, the vice captain. Looks like he's got a shoulder problem. Is Lloyd. Aziz, good strength against Coburg.
Yes, Fenton's got an Ian Rickman shoulder.
He really has put himself into the game, Jack.
7th mark. Slow motion stuff at the moment.
Play on!
Well, I know that Werribee and further west to Geelong and a lot of the Western District will be behind the Tigers today. I'll take this opportunity to send a cheerio to one of my favourite uncles, Lex Googer, who broke his leg during the week. I'm sure he's up in hospital barracking for the Tigers. A little closer to Melbourne, the west of this town, probably favouring Williamstown. So it's a battle for supremacy out west, and it's Werribee that lead at the moment. Good tackle on Howlett from Radcliffe. Yes, they've played that all day. Advantage they've played all day as well. They've got them stretched here, the Bees. Knight's kick. And he had to try and mark their cells, and Mitchell lost the handle, rushing it through. So the difference now is 3 points. 3 points in favour of Werribee, and that's Chris Burton hobbling.
It's not a good sign. They'll certainly need his legs and long kicking in the last quarter.
This kick in taken by Harris. McMaster on his natural foot. Oh, just hooked it a fraction too much. So the injury count. Willis with cracked ribs perhaps for Williamstown. Burton limping. Rayburn.
Keeps mounting, Ross. It might be the battle of the fittest in the final analysis.
Rayburn with an ankle problem and an injection at half-time, and now Fenton off with the shoulder. And, of course, Lesaputty off the ground too. He's probably OK, though. McTaggart. Lloyd will fly. Radcliffe, Sleverson paddling it forward. Covered a lot of territory. Morney. Pace. Taking on the defender. Back. And shooting at goal. Oh, Bruce Morney.
Well, he got swung into that.
One of those classic ones, Sam. As soon as he was tackled, you knew he was going to be swung onto the right line. I don't know why that happens, but you see it so often.
And Sleverson did very well running the ball virtually for about 150 metres. Finally onto Morney, who takes a bounce. He likes to run with the ball, trying to get back on his preferred right foot, but tackled and swung into the right direction. And luck's a fortune, isn't it?
Well, I think he'd be glad he notched that one, because I thought he was at fault earlier on when he ran too far. Should have passed the ball to Rickman about 5 minutes ago. It went to the other end and Werribee gold. This is going to go to the wire, I think.
Yes, I don't think there'll be a great deal in it, Peter.
A minute away from time on in the third term. Williamstown with their noses in front. 2 points is the lead as Werribee go forward through Knight. Not Paid to McTaggart. Plenty of desperate seagulls around it. Oh, that is a bad decision.
That is disgraceful. That's what I was mentioning yesterday. They've really got to review that rule, or just endeavour to get a degree of consistency in it, because McTaggart on that occasion was the only man endeavouring to make the play.
Well, he was trying to hit it out, wasn't he?
He was just trying to find it down near his ankles somewhere. Well, it couldn't be in a better pair of hands for Werribee. Stephen Sells from 30 metres. And he makes no mistake. And Sells kicks his third, 2 of them in this quarter. And it's Werribee back in front.
Gee, I howl on that parasitic element getting those easy kicks. Not that I'm suggesting that here we'll see it on screen. You know, McTaggart hasn't found the ball. He still hasn't got it. He's still trying to knock it out. He's trying to do something constructive with it, and all Sells is doing is holding the ball. Not that I'm being critical of Sells or think that he's a parasite, but he's the man on the spot at the right time. But it's a real silly, needs reviewing in that regard.
3 free kicks to Sells, 2-1 for the quarter. Here comes Smith. Unattended goal, and he misses once more, Grant Smith. Amanda Boovid's penning her notes for the Sun. Looks a bit concerned. Where is she tipped? Spearings. Nice gather. Desperate lunge by Smith at the feet, on the feet of Spearings. Walpole. Morris is on. Good mark. Robbie Morris. Not such a good kick. Oh, it is in the end. Touched it was. Sells shoots and puts it through. Stephen Sells. That's 4 to him. 4 to O'Keefe. And Werribee go out now to an 9-point lead.
He really is a class player, Sells. You know, you can never ever shut him out of the game, and you know, you might think you've got him subdued for 10 or 15 minutes, but he just chimes in at the appropriate time for 3 or 4 minutes. He's got such great skills, natural good ball handling skills, strengths both sides of the body, and on that occasion his preferred left foot from about 45 metres out, and what a great snap.
Brown been beaten in this quarter by All Day. Morris hitting it to Walpole. The other interchange player let him down. Pastore's kick. Forsyth this time. It's Rickman that lays the tackle on him. Claims one on Spearings. Another good quick handball from Gould. Rickman's kick onto the chest of Spearings. I'm sure the Footscray faithful very happy with what they're seeing from Barry Spearings today. He'll be in the dog colours next year. Forsyth's handball to Walpole. And again he's caught. Pastore once more.
Should have been holding the ball, yes.
Exactly, Ross. The picture tells a story. This is just pathetic umpiring.
I think they've done a good job up until
well, they had, you know, and
so.
I've been the first to give them a pat on the back, but the last 20 minutes have been abysmal.
Sleverson. He's caught, gets a hand pass out in time. Sizer took his eye off it. Mitchell stood in line with the ball. Smith the fly. Advantage paid. Gary Walpole. Permanent interchange this year. Shows the ball to his opponent. Sends a pass towards Harris. A touch long. McTaggart's caught. Looked to have thrown that out. Swan. Rounds loose in the middle. Oh, smother from Harris on the ground. Howlett out to Mitchell. He's tackled. That's holding the ball.
Gee, I'm sure it's a game Billy Swan would like to forget.
And Nick Walsh gets the free. The lead from O'Keefe. Lloyd coming at the back. Oh, interferes with O'Keefe. Well, I saw it the other way.
It was a push early, I think,
Was
Ross.
it?
And we saw him take that great mark before, and Sam said he gave a push on that occasion also, so it might be evened up.
But in your defence, Ross, I will say that even I'm getting confused.
That is some admission from Sam Kekovich. There's Gould. Another handball. Michelli. Only as far as Sizer. Morris. Right from 50. A beautiful kick. Sweeping left footer. So many left footers are good kicks of the ball. And 29 minutes gone. Werribee stretching it to touch. 15 points, their biggest lead since the first quarter.
You're right, Peter, and here we see it on screen. You know, this is a superb kick by Robert Morris and a feature of the game, and Werribee's general play was critical previously during the year when we saw them. They were chipping the ball short, but they're such good long kicks. And that is a prime prerequisite when selecting football talent, is the ability to kick the ball long.
Werribee have kicked 8 goals in this third quarter. O'Connor. Swan. Pass towards Rickman. Bundle aside. In comes Aziz. Snap at goal bouncing. The wrong side. There's 8 goals to Werribee and 4 to Williamstown, but the breeze is favouring the left of screen. So Williamstown have it in the final term. Wonder if they've got the legs. Fitzpatrick thumps it 60 metres. Pastore, Swan misses it. McMaster blocks it in.
Fine.
Over 30 minutes gone in the third quarter. And way to the southwest, rain clouds. You might be lucky, we might get through this match before we get some rain. Rayburn is penalised.
Stay on the line.
Waits for the Rickman lead. There's a bit of a run at it. Aziz, though, will mark. And Rickman's hurt the shoulder.
Had his name written all over this, Peter, didn't he, from the outset? You know, positioned himself well, and he's got a vice-like grip. You know, Domberg surely would have learned from previous experience. He's just got to punch against this man from behind.
It's kick 2 in this quarter. Hasn't added to his goal-kicking tally. 2 goals, 3 in this term for Jack Aziz.
And just 2 possessions to Richie Rayburn for the quarter. One of them a goal. Kick for a goal. Domberg leading out to the Normie Goss stand. Kicks out in that direction. Domberg over the back, trying to fist it forward. Michele with Radcliffe. The margin 13 points. Werribee leading all day. Clever work against Big Barry Round. Is Knight to be penalised?
No, Ross.
Another long quarter. We had a 33-minute second quarter. Over 32 minutes.
12 goals kicked so far in the term. Michele's got a free. He's really concentrating on the ball and nothing else, Wayne Michele. Rickman should mark this. Again, Forsyth letting him know that he was present, even though he was in no position to spoil.
Giving their shoulder a workout every opportunity they get to Werribee defence, Peter, aren't they?
This goal could be vital in the final analysis.
Don't go over it.
No one knows that more than Ian Rickman. Long goals hard to come by at that end. Rickman kicked 3 goals today. So far in this quarter, Williamstown have kicked 4 goals, 6 to Werribee's 8 goals, 3. Hugged that ball in quickly to stop the spoil from the full-back.
Fitzpatrick again goes to Domberg, was the other side of the ground last time, and he fists it or punches it forward. Gets clean possession, thumps it forward, but the siren has sounded for 3/4 time.
So it's a 2-goal lead for Werribee as the dark clouds gather away over Port Phillip Bay. It was a 9-point lead for Williamstown at half-time. So for Werribee, 3 goals in that quarter from Stephen Sells and a single from O'Keefe, Morris, Harris and Spearings along with Rayburn have put them in front. Their multiple goal kickers are Sell with 4 all told, O'Keefe 4, 2 to Harris and Knight, while for Williamstown it's 3 to Rickman, Morney, 2 to Aziz and Michele making up their multiple goal kickers. It's still anybody's game, a quarter of the elimination final to go for 1990. once the winner of this match has been decided, we'll make our selection for the man of the match today. It's very wide open. Whatever our selection, jot it on the back of an envelope with your name and address and get it to the VFA by last mail Wednesday. And come Thursday morning, if your entry is drawn out and it's correct, it tallies with our selection, you'll win $200 from Mazda. The respective huddles, the numbers swelled by the spectators. Feature of VFA football, you can still get out and listen to your coach. We'll eavesdrop shortly, but in the final AFL home and away game, Richmond going further away from the Sydney Swans up there at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Let's go in on Leon Harris first up.
In their face, because at the end they started pulling with each other. They started pulling with each other. So it needs us to stick together, because ever we need to dig and dig and dig from as low as we possibly can. All the work we've done from the bloody camp at Bacchus Marsh. Remember Mixer carrying that bloody log? Come on. That was for now. That's to show us how much guts we got now to come out of it, to come right out of it. But the only way we're going to do it, is score goals into it. Score goals, run it. And as I said at half-time, I would back us against any team in that capacity. But we must win the ball first.
Oh, it's good to hear they're not going to go defensive. You can't really on a 2-goal lead, even in finals football. Today, all the scoring has been really at that Williamstown road end. Williamstown will be kicking to that end in this term. And the team that's kicked with it has ended up in front at the end of the quarter. But Leon Harris looking for his first finals victory as a coach and the first division finals win for his team Werribee. They've never been here before. It was Williamstown against the Breeze, who started off well. Jackers is getting into the game up there.
Yes, Peter, the opening few minutes they ran a 3 or 4 point lead into a 21-point lead, and I thought, how far? I thought the floodgates had opened. Michele featured prominently once again. Here we see, Smith doing well. Rickman will end up being paid the advantage rule and kicking another goal. And they really did look the goods in the opening 5 or 6 minutes. And I really was starting to wonder as to Werribee whether they had the resolve in the constitution to get back into the game. But this man on screen now, Sells, played a very, very prominent role. And Captain Coach Leon Harris sparked the Bees back into action. And they turned a 21-point deficit into a 11-point lead. And it was really done with tremendous character they displayed. Spearings has been a fine player for Werribee, along with Sizer, and their entire backline's been very, very effective. They've got a lot of run, they've generated a lot of drive, and they've ran the ball long distances. And once again, Jackers who's really contested hard and diligently today. I've been very impressed with his game. You know, it hasn't been probably his greatest game, but for the amount of competitiveness that he's given has been superb. Here we see that long kicking game, catching the Williamstown defence. Richie Rayburn. Yeah, in that highlight, as we look at some of the Werribee players up there on the bank, it's the under-19s who played earlier today have got to the ground, but caught out there the defence, and McTaggart didn't know which one of those 3 Werribee players to take care of. Williamstown had more of the ball really, but the handball of Werribee, which was mentioned by Leon Harris, they can move the ball better than any team in the competition, he feels, and they'll be doing it against the Breeze to try and win this game. And look, Werribee have taken over in the ruck. We really shouldn't forget the contribution of David Alday, who beat Barry Round in that quarter, and that really got them going, I think, Sam, out of the middle. I agree, Pete. I think David Alday has been the catalyst behind Werribee's revival, and of course Fenton and the smaller brigade have really, read the tap outs very well. He'll rally though, I think, Barry Brown. We've written him off a few times to our regret in the past when he's been beaten, and the fitness of this 40-year-old is amazing. Just phenomenal he is. You can rest assured he'll be going right to the wire. And one thing I would like to give a pat on the back to the Werribee Brains Trust, because their strategy up forward in that quarter was, I thought, excellently devised, leaving Sells at full forward with almost acres of territory to use his pace and agility and skills, and he really didn't let them down. They drove the ball long and left him one out on McTaggart, and really on a one-on-one situation, Sells will outplay most defenders, Peter. And I thought that was an excellent strategy by Werribee.
Well, I wonder what the Williamstown Brains Trust have come up with. Ross Booth.
Well, you're talking about David Alday and Barry Round. Barry Round said to his players that he was disappointed in his own game. He would have to lift. Gentleman that he is, admits his poor form today, but he will lift, and he believes that Williamstown can come home and win by 5 goals. But cast your mind back earlier in the year to the Werribee-Springvale match here, a televised match. Werribee kicking into the breeze in the last quarter, overran Springvale into the breeze when most people thought Springvale would win. So I'd give them still a chance.
He really has injected a wonderful spirit, hasn't he, Leon Harris, into the Werribee team. You know, that Bacchus Marsh camp he was alluding to at the start of the game, you know, it's almost become a ritual with most clubs now, that Werribee, that Bacchus Marsh camp down there as a basis for fitness.
Umpire Carlin to start the last quarter. Final survival resting on it. Round wins the first tap. Walsh's kick taken by Sells, who's wrestled clear, told to go for goal by Harris. Lloyd, who nearly got a free kick, but pressured by O'Keefe, who couldn't get the purchase on it off the carpet. And it's Lloyd to Howlett, to Lloyd. Very cool, these two men in defence. Might come back pretty quickly, though. McMaster, Morris, Walsh, quick hands and stolen away by Smith. Can have another one if he wants, Grant Smith. Wants to draw all day to him. Swan. Raking kick for Rickman, who stages for the free kick. Aziz against Domberg. It's the former. Aziz, the goal kicker.
Gee, he's really put himself into the action, Jack. You know, been a wonderful contributor. And, of course, fine play by Grant Smith intercepting Werribee when they had the numbers there to be a little bit more effective. But Smith's attacking play is great. And here we see on screen Aziz pivoting on his left foot and a great snap. And that's just the tonic, I'm sure, that Barry Round was looking for to lift his charges in the opening minutes of this vital last term.
A goal the difference. Round. O'Connor had to be quick and was. Morney. Too long for Rickman, but he's doubled back nicely. Well, it might have been a good kick in the end, Morney, because it drew Fitzpatrick underneath the ball, and he read it off the boot, I think, Ian Rickman.
Yes. I think Fitzpatrick's eyes were focused firmly on Rickman, and when Rickman went under it, he realised what his fault was, and then doubled back. But unfortunately, Fitzpatrick was too far under it.
Well, clapping from Aziz on the line, but it wasn't conning the goal umpire. That would have levelled the scores if it had been 6 points, and that lady knows it.
And that was a vital possession by Marcus O'Connor. That's something Williamstown haven't been able to achieve today, that quick kick out of the pressure cooker situation, that engine room.
Radcliffe on the break. With him, Burton. All day into the path cleverly of Forsyth. They run it well out of defence, the Tigers. Rayburn showing no ill effects. Didn't get an injection, as I thought. Just playing on courage. Harris, the snap. O'Keefe in front of Lloyd. And out on the full, says the goal umpire.
Over your mark.
Lloyd called a kick over the player. Standing on the mark in O'Keefe. Smith in front, good spot, good mark. Oh.
No jumpers. No way. Go back and take your kick. You're trying to pinch 50 now. Go round. Right there.
Well, the interpretation of 50 metres has changed since the start of the season, that's for sure. This is Gary Walpole, most experienced player in terms of years in the Werribee side. Back to him from Spearings. Walpole, beautiful kick. Harris couldn't get the third grab. Pastore kept it under the pack. Morris charging straight at it. O'Connor.
Get up and take a kick. Take a kick.
Well, it was Walsh who really fell on O'Connor, who slipped underneath him there.
Walsh slipped too.
Mark now.
Courageous Marcus O'Connor.
Play on.
David Howlett. Aziz.
There's 50.
Great decision, Brendan.
And an injury for Werribee now.
Robert Morris.
Charged straight at the ball before there, Sam. And, well, it's unfortunate to see someone making the ball their aim.
The bane of all footballers, a knee injury, I think.
And another injured player replaces him, Fenton, while it's Aziz looking to rub salt into the wound with his 4th goal of the match. A let-off for Werribee.
Yes, well, that's just inexcusable, that, and even inexplicable from someone of Aziz's capabilities. A crucial goal. 3-5, I've just been informed by a statistician.
Paul Field, alert as ever. Out to Spearings. Couldn't quite gather that for another possession. Michele with him. 4 points the margin. 5 minutes into the final term of the elimination final. Smith, a double-hander. Grant Smith on left of screen speaks to umpire Carland. To no avail. Brown is now there to do the ruck work with all day. Rayburn. Tumbling kick to centre. Great gather Walsh. Off to Fenton, straight into the action. Oversizes head. Pastoria a few centimetres on him. The 217s. Mitchell. Oh, Howlett will have to be quick. He is. Pulled in by Morney. Rickman says kick it to O'Connor. It's a badly executed one and it falls in the hands of Smith. It was intended for O'Connor. Rickman's led short. Smith goes long. Perhaps a bad option. Walpole. No, Sleverson. Off the ground by O'Connor. 3 points now. The difference.
Some ominous signs starting to appear. Roscoe. I think Williamstown will finally find the big opening shortly. They've just monopolised possession in the opening minutes.
And then there's another free kick up at centre half back. It's for Spearings against Michele. Smith, good position to spoil, but that's a strong mark from McMaster. Walsh goes to the flank. He's got the drop on Andrew Howlett. Sells is led into the pocket. There's no one at home if he goes long. Puts it in front of goal. The numbers are with Williamstown, who will try to mark. McTaggart left it behind, but there's O'Connor. McMaster centre wing. Walsh again. Again, Sells is ignored. Spearings. O'Keefe front position. Takes McTaggart down. Mitchell around to Lloyd. Burton.
This is the guy that can really influence the game with his running and long kicking.
Finds Michele with a pass on centre wing. O'Connor's got space. Rayburn led him away. Looks for Rickman. Kick is good. The lead was good. And Ian Rickman, chance to add to his tally of 3 goals. Crowd in the stand absorbed by the closeness of this tussle. 16th possession coming up for the full forward. From 40 metres. Puts it through. Jack Aziz gives him a big bear hug. And Williamstown are back in front.
The faithful like it, Ross. And as I mentioned, I thought it was only a matter of time before the Werribee defence had to crack by the sheer weight of possession that Williamstown were getting in the forward thrust they were mounting, and their Rickman getting close attention once again. But it hasn't been a vintage Rickman performance, but once again he has had 16 possessions, worked hard, and I think he'll get better. In the event that they win, I think you'll see a better performance from Rickman in the oncoming weeks.
All they got it to Fenton, who put himself in good position to get the free kick, and that's what Sleverson said. O'Keefe's out at centre-half forward. The number 8 is the target. In front, though, taking the mark, Lesapati. Haven't seen a lot of him. Went off to interchange as it's handed off from McMaster to Walsh. Sells, that would have been a miracle goal. McTaggart smothering it out. Round only as far as Sells, and Lloyd catches him.
Gee, the tackling has been a feature of the game this afternoon.
Underneath it all day. Mighty fist from Aziz. Fitzpatrick trying to grab the bouncing ball. He couldn't.
Yeah, that's tremendous contest by Aziz. You know, it's a knock-on, play the percentages, start all over again.
Oh, well done, Barry Round. That's a lift. Burton quickly to boot. Quick hand pass, Morty. Kicks from Aziz smothered. Domberg ran out and met it. Fires out the hand pass to Fenton. He doesn't look to be too troubled. Domberg into the breeze. O'Keefe in front. Oh, he's held. Almost legged. Still has possession. Lesapati puts Burton down into the pocket, over Sells' head. Ball still in play. Rayburn. Nice paddle. Mitchell there, ever reliable. Very good defence.
Was intelligent play, Ross, wasn't it?
Play down.
Mitchell running the ball over the behind line.
Swan towards Morney. But so often Bill Swan these days wastes his possessions.
Yes, it's certainly been an ordinary performance by Bill Swan standards. I'm still of the opinion that he's not properly fit.
Pastore backs into the clear. Rickman has a 3-metre break. Oh, unlucky not to be paid.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick, a rainmaker. The knock on from all day. Sleverson to Aziz. Oh, took it too easily. Plenty of Werribee players there. Morney stealing it away from Fitzpatrick, who had to sit under it for an eternity. Ducked his head a bit, Forsyth. It's come loose to O'Connor. Lovely snap on his non-preferred left foot, and Marcus O'Connor kicks his second. And they finally followed up that goal, Williamstown. I thought they'd relax a little bit when they hit the lead. They point the difference now. 28th possession for Marcus O'Connor.
And here we see it on screen, Peter, and you talk about team-orientated things giving you a chance. What a wonderful tackle this was by Rickman, who forced the error. And O'Connor, who's been a good four-quarter player for Williamstown, snapped truly.
8 points. Williamstown. Advantage pays. Sleverson straight at goal, and it gets it. And the Seagulls are on fire.
Yes, they've finally broken the shackles, I feel. Ross. He had a couple of options then, Sleverson. Rickman was unattended about 20 metres out. He looked at amazement when he saw Sleverson kicking it long, obviously not having a high regard for his kicking ability, but it was a perfect kick. All of 55 metres.
And a look of relief around the ground on many Williamstown supporters as they go out to a 14-point lead.
Fenton putting Burton down.
Play ball.
Two goals the difference, 14 minutes into the last quarter. Knock on from McMaster. Walsh and teammate Knight run into one another. Pastori's kick. Spearings. Harris. O'Keefe. Smith gratefully takes it away. Burton's on his own.
Great vision.
Rickman's led a bit early. He's continued it again now. Trying to hold off with Swan there for Rickman. Domberg really being hemmed in. They're fighting hard to keep it on their foreline, Williamstown. Harris's kick. And Pastori done a great job in this last quarter on half-back.
They kicked to the half-forward line where Knight and Walsh are still groggy from their collision. They're back on their feet now. But nothing came of that attack. Meantime, Michelli finds Morney. 70 metres from goal. Squaring kick to Slaverson. Leon Harris prevents him from playing on. Sleverson kicked the last goal. Confidently bangs a long one. Aziz is held. Aziz will get the free. And Walsh after that clash goes off.
That was a little bit more like the Rickman of old. I know he didn't take the mark. Here we see
Nick Walsh.
Nasty one to Nick Walsh's face.
I think you're right, Sam. It's all over. 14 points. This will make it 20. Aziz kicks his fourth.
Well, we've said all along that he has been a wonderful contributor with his aggression, his strength, his willingness to look for work. And he's really played that position with a lot of authority. Bearing in mind he has played against a good player in Domberg who hasn't done a great deal wrong himself.
Sam, I just wonder if it's a Williamstown-Preston grand final, whether or not, or which side you'll go, Hallis or Aziz, well, your favourite player in the competition.
You know me, Peter. Well,
Wayne Michelli, yes. You've got so many of them, Sam.
Well, yes, I'll have a fortnight of stew over that, Ross.
Gould. Tackle Lesapati. Mitchell. They're looking like winners now, the Seagulls. Look at that, chasing his own kick from Troy Mitchell.
And I've been very impressed with him, Peter, being tight all day. Reminds me of the old style back pocket.
Yeah. Bernie Smith.
Yes. I was thinking more like the lines of John Bonetti.
Captain coach around. Looks like he might get another shot. Forcing his way into that grand final and winning a flag for Williamstown. They'll take great momentum from this victory because Werribee have not given in. Who's to say they're done yet? We're 17 minutes into the last quarter. It's just 20 points the difference. Here's O'Keefe. Knight, he's caught by 3. Gould, his handball has been superb today. Smith. Rickman.
Falls onto that left shoulder, doesn't it?
But there's nothing so exciting, isn't there, when you see a full forward in touch. Billy Swan coming off. Matty Johnson has been off the field for a good half.
Rickman for number 5.
From 55, and we'll kick it, Peter.
Yes, he certainly did kick it, but not a goal. Streaming forward was Grant Smith, who's been doing that with great effect all day. Very little Domberg could do there. From the kick in, they get another chance through Michelli. His eyes were on the ball as he dropped it to his foot. And that was a superb kick from Wayne Michelli. 3 goals. And 27 points is looking insurmountable now for Werribee. We're 18.5 minutes into the last quarter.
Yes, Ross, and I'm an unashamed fan of this man on screen too, Wayne Michelli. We all know the ability that he's blessed with, but unfortunately it's taken a while to surface. He's had a tendency to be a little bit overly zealous in other matters apart from playing football, but he's certainly reaping the rewards of it now.
Here they come again. Smith goes long. Rickman looks back.
And it's a credit to Round's coaching in the manner that he settled that kid down. Oh, look at this, will you? Wouldn't you like to take that home, Ross?
It's looking towards the sky. It senses rain. Sniffing the air. The Seagulls in attack. 19 minutes gone of the elimination final. Rickman gets his foot to the ball. Only as far as 9. Miss kick. Luck not going their way now, the Tigers. Sleverson has the breeze at his back. 30 metres from goal. And kicks his second for the quarter. And it's a pro-Willie crowd, that's for sure.
Well, they've got a big following. They're a proud club. And they have bounced back in the best manner to answer their critics. And it's been we spoke in our preview that we felt the experience would be a factor, and certainly that experience is starting to become more evident now, with Round lifting, as is Pastore being a fine player, Smith, Burton lifting, and of course Rickman.
Sizer. That's what we weren't seeing from Williamstown in that third quarter. And it was 8 goals to 3 from Werribee. They've got the scent now, the Seagulls. All they won that tap. Mesapati as it smothered. This didn't really fist it forward. It went instead to O'Keefe. They're having no time to get rid of it now, the Tigers.
Let him go! Stay there,
Sizer's kick from the free kick has good distance, and Lesapati trickles through. It's a goal. But Howler clears the lines. Smith. Sleverson, a long, fast lead. Very open forward line. Fitzpatrick had O'Connor coming at him, took his eyes off the ball. Pastore. Rickman has Morney going back into the square. I think he'll go for them himself. What a boomer! But offline.
Gee, Pastore was cool as a cucumber in the crisis. Then he's picked the right option. Saw Rickman. Still not convinced that it's over the line.
Who, you or they?
No, that particular gentleman on screen.
No, I think they resigned, Sam, that the Tigers are not going to win their first appearance in a First Division final.
Morney can't grab it. Yes, he can. He clutches it from nowhere. And the desperate defenders. Matty Johnson, take it easy.
Settle down! Come on! Settle down! Bounce it! Settle down!
Call is to bounce it.
Hold the ball! Thanks! Hold the ball! Hold the ball!
That'll get them playing football.
Yes, well, of course, the last thing Williamstown want to do is engage in something like this.
23 minutes nearly gone. Barry Round can't get it up. Now there's a legitimate bounce. Peter G's had 2 votes in the absence of Phil Cleary for our man of the match. Ricky Knight. Rickman to Burton. Johnson. Tackled by Harris, the 2 combatants from before. McMaster, been a good player. Werribee run it well. Fenton, long, Sells in front, pushed by Lloyd. No doubt about that.
He certainly made a moral of it, didn't he, Sells?
Stephen Sells, 4 goals, 18 possessions. And becomes the chief goal kicker on either side with 5. But does that figure it is puffed out?
Yes, there we saw that little nudge, Ross. He has worked hard, Sells. Been starved of opportunity, of course, this quarter, with the ball being in Williamstown's forward line.
28 points is the difference. Ziz put his hands in there on the boot of Lesapati to get it away. Burton. And Grant Smith, he's been a real goer all day. Rickman against Domberg. Domberg down to the ground. McMaster's handball all day. Knight is frustrated now. He's so much wanted to win this game against his former teammates. Started off like a house on fire, but sees the house falling down now. Sleverson can kick a long goal. This one might be just a little bit too far out. The fly was Morney, the marker Michelli.
Well, he certainly has matured, hasn't he, Wayne Michelli? What a fine overhead grab. And he is the player that was kept going all day and got Williamstown back in the game early in the piece.
And he's kicked 5 goals for the afternoon.
Wonderful performance. And the Willie faithful, are they happy about that?
Well, it looks like Morney, the man in the best position, but it's the man 4th in a row that grabs it.
The better judgment displayed by Michelli. Yes, he's displayed wonderful concentration and a desire to win the ball. And that's what's needed.
Rounds tap. Smith, as is almost. It had Jamie Shaw's hands, he would have grabbed it. This will bounce nicely for Rickman. Held when he got rid of it. Well, adding insult to injury for Werribee, I'm afraid. And they're going to be ground into the turf, and they really don't deserve to be thrashed. But it's looking a little bit that way now.
You're right, Pete. They certainly do not deserve it. It's been a wonderful performance from them in their maiden finals appearance. They really have worked hard and put up a credible performance.
On the line.
5 goals for Ian Rickman.
Yeah, and he's got better as the games have gone on. Peter, we've said that all along. It hasn't been a vintage Rickman performance, but certainly displaying some of the dash and aerial strength, and his kicking certainly hasn't deserted him in terms of distance, but his accuracy, and he can still lose 1 or 2 more pounds to get that little bit more spring and agility into his makeup. But the fortunes of Williamstown certainly ride high on his shoulders.
Well, a little bit of toing and froing about how many goals Wayne Michelli has got. I had him down for 4. Ross Booth is sure he's kicked 5. Paul Field, now statistician, says 4. I think it might be 4. But it's definitely Rickman with 5. And Werribee trying to get that goal back. Fighting it out to the end as McTaggart gets it to half forward for Williamstown. Aziz. Smith. He could have 5 now. Rue drills it.
He's got a cult following out of Williamstown, hasn't he, Michelli? Wayne Michelli. And of course, we'll see it on replay shortly. Wonderful work further afield by, firstly, Aziz, getting the ball out to Smith. Smith with great vision. He's been a fine player. Out to Michelli, reading the play and putting himself in the right position. And just on Smith, as I said all along, he's a wonderful attacking player. His defensive skills at times leave a little bit desired, but when he's in this frame of mind, he's such a big plus for Williamstown.
Well, half a smile, I think, on the face of Barry around there. Lesapati knocked it on. Ricocheted off to O'Keefe. Round put the tackle in. Matt Johnson going down. Another shovel forward there from Mitchell. Round got it to Sleverson, only as far as Fenton. Now Lloyd is the man with the break on Sells. We've had long quarters in this match, so we're going to run a little bit overtime today. I don't think the Williamstown fans will mind. Brown finding Pastore. Those two have really lifted in this last quarter. Oh, O'Connor. He has got a power of possessions today, and he's a strong mark for his size, Marcus O'Connor. That was his 30th possession. No-look handball. Finds Pastore. Strong mark from Spearings.
Tried valiantly all day, his Spearings.
Stay there now, quiet!
27 possessions for Barry Spearings. Gary Forsyth giving it straight to Aziz. Sleverson. Beautiful long kick. Walpole hoping, I think it went over the boundary line. Now Morney's clear. O'Connor. Well, I think tiredness more than anything was the reason he didn't hold that mark.
Well, has he got a good reason to be tired? He has worked tirelessly all afternoon. Tremendous courage displayed, and that is courage when you push yourself to the limit like that. Been an inspiration for Williamstown.
Well, Werribee were 12 points in front at three-quarter time. Williamstown now lead by 47 points and will play in the first semi-final against Coburg. What a match-up that'll be, as Sells can't snare his 6th goal. Werribee have taken a lot from this season. They will have learned a bit from today too that will stand them in good stead. Here's O'Keefe. Spent the second half out at centre half forward. Leon Harris. Lesapati has it knocked through by Howlett. The rain starts to fall here at the Port Melbourne ground. Werribee to bow out for season 1990 after a great improvement in their fortunes this season. Williamstown in the first semi-final, Springvale in the second against Preston. That's next Sunday. The fullback Howlett has gone over the line here. You don't see that too often these days. Umpires tend to be pretty lenient with that. But
in the dying seconds of a match too.
Well, umpire David Howlett, no relation to Andrew Howlett, obviously. No. He's pinned him. Sells eyeball to eyeball with Barry Round. Well, that first semi-final next Saturday, Sam, isn't that going to be a beauty? The teams that have met in the grand final the past 2 years. As the ball's tapped down by Round to Johnston. Burton in the gathering gloom. And as far as Fenton. It's another 33-minute quarter. As Spearings puts it to the edge of the square. They all fly for Williamstown. Burton gets the last touch. The Seagulls continue on in the 1990 Premiership race. Werribee bow out. A 45-point win for Williamstown here today against a gallant Werribee side. 5 goals from Wayne Michelle and Ian Rickman for the winners. 5 goals for Stephen Sells for the losers. Played in very good spirit. The two ruckmen shake hands. Barry Round's son David there offers his dad a drink, and Round in his 100th VFA game still must have that Premiership Cup in his mind well and truly, and they will have taken a lot from this game. Ross Booth is down with our Wards Express man of the match, Wayne Michelle.
As the rain starts to fall, Robbie Vanek from Wards Express with the tankard.
Champion, congratulations, Wayne.
Terrific stuff. You've really disciplined yourself. A great game. 6 goals we got you for.
Yeah, I can't say much, but we've just got to beat Coburg next week, mate. The Blakes are terrific today. I reckon we'll knock them off.
There we are. A confident Wayne Michelle, Wards Express man of the match.
And they've probably got some reason to feel confident too. It was a nail-biter in the elimination final in the under-19s at Springvale, and Port Melbourne Had a pretty wretched season this year all round, the lowest finish for years in the seniors, but they're under-19s winning today against Springvale. So the finals next week, it is Coburg against Williamstown. You can see it live on ABC television next Saturday afternoon from 2 o'clock. They're not fighting for the premiership this time, they're fighting for survival. Then on Sunday, it's Preston, who've had that, well, it's almost 2 weeks rest, over 2 weeks, when they play Springvale. That should be another beauty. A lot to look forward to from the first and second semi-finals of VFA football. We hope you've enjoyed the action this afternoon from Port Melbourne. Congratulations to Williamstown.